That button. Boom. Did it. Need to open that up. Cool. Hi, friends. It's me. And surprise guest, Zach, who I was all prepped just to be me today. And then lo and behold, last minute Zach to the rescue.
I was like, I need to do something. I'm going to hang out with Ben. We're going to talk Cyorion.
Mm-hmm. So, we don't know if anybody else is going to jump in and join us, but we are off from our regularly scheduled programming today. Some personal issues that I don't think is my place, so I'm not going to say anything, but you know who you are, and we love you a lot.
Yeah.
You are in our hearts. And then Nate, that jerk, is in fucking Hawaii. Tough life, man. Hanging out
Yeah,
Hawaii.
really just, wow. Way to leave us in a lurch. Gallivanting across the world like a super stud.
I know. And we're seeing all the awesome update pictures he keeps sending, so I guess we'll just have to live vicariously through his delicious food posts and all that good stuff that he's been putting up. Where's
Indeed.
I don't know where it's all been now. Now I'm looking back for more and I can't find it. Well, I guess that's fine because, I'm just grumpy at it because I'm not in Hawaii. So we don't know who's going to show up and hang out tonight, but if you have any questions, you can feel free to ask them because we're kind of making this an impromptu AMA / kind of review of where we've been and where we're going. And I've got all sorts of stuff up, except for things like the World Anvil, which I should likely have up because that's important.
Maybe yeah.
I did.
Thought occurs to me I should probably pull up my old journal entries that I stopped halfway through doing them.
Hey, I mean, at least someone's keeping notes, but too bad she's not here tonight.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, have you seen pictures of Sarah's journal on this game?
I haven't seen pictures, but I did see when she'd show it on camera while we were playing and just be like, these are all the notes. And I'm just like, I'm so glad we have a smart person as the note taker because my notes would just not be nearly as comprehensive.
Yeah, she went back and, oh, that's cute. I didn't realize that. Sorry. On the Cyorion homepage, now that I've added Nate as an editor, he shows up as it's created by me, and then he's on the editorial team at the top of the page.
That's cool.
That's neat. I did not know that. Yeah, she went back apparently and redid all the notes that she had and then like color coded them and brought them in like just massive amount of stuff and then like compressed everything down into a digestible amount of stuff. And made this ridiculous set of notes. And I've seen the pictures and they are just like, they look like college kid notes. A very smart college kid set of notes because she's got them all color coded and they look amazing. And I'm so jealous of note-taking skills. All my notes look like trash.
Same. I mean, my notes that I have taken are just in almost shorthand where it's like, so-and-so bad, ? And it's not like...
Yeah. Bad ? I don't know. Oh, yeah. Well, we've been doing stuff for over a year now.
Yeah.
And in in-game terms, you guys have been working together now for just about 2 months, which is almost 112 days. Because of course, I can't be normal and give us normal things. I have to be like, hey, here's a fucked up 8-week month system with 8 days, and it's each month is a season, and there's just 4 months, and that's just how we do things here at Cyorion. So I don't know. Since you're here, Zach, I guess I can interview you and ask you what. Let's go on a per character basis. This is going to be the hard-hitting question.
All right.
I'm going to give you some character names, and I want the big memory from that person for you. What stands out, and then I'm going to throw some NPCs in there too, and see if you can actually remember who some of these people are.
Oh gosh,
because some of them it's been a minute.
I gotta say, my memory is absolute dog doo doo. So let's see if we can pull out a victory here on this one. Jeez.
We're gonna score you as well.
Oh, fantastic.
If you can remember 50% of the NPCs, you can have inspiration at the start of the next session. If you remember 100%, everybody starts with inspiration.
Don't you put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby.
No pressure. Okay, so I mean, we'll start simple with our player characters. So obvious choice to start with is, what's the big Doran moment for you so far?
Oh man, just everything going on with his siblings. Learning that his sister and brother were conscripted into the Fangs, learning that his younger brother was supposedly dead, and then finding out just recently that, no, surprise, he's alive, but not in the way you might think. And so all of the family drama that I kind of wrote into my backstory is like, here's why he's angsty, and then I served it up on a silver platter, and I said, here you go, Ben, have fun.
Yeah. I just needed a reason to go fuck with dragons, because
Listen, I am stereotypical, like, I love dragons kid. Like, I love dragons. Dragons are cool as shit. So I was absolutely like, I'm gonna play a Dragonborn if I can, and it's gonna be all about dragon stuff because I love dragons.
Oh yeah, that's one of the joys of creating this world is when I made it initially, I set out to make a place that was like a big playground that everybody could feel like they contributed to. But there had to be something to start with. We couldn't just I couldn't give you guys a blank slate because it wasn't a pure sandbox. We wanted to have some structure to it. So I came up with like the history and kind of there's the eons long history that you are not privy to yet, that one day you will know. But going back over the whole world, we started coming up with these kingdoms, and I say we because Josh was always my big sounding board for that. And I had this place up here that back in the original maps was I liked the stereotypical high fantasy island where like all of the different ecosystems were there. Hey, hit people guy, how's it going?
Hey.
So it was this place where my headcanon on why it worked was this is where the dragons set up shop. And the reason it had all these different ecosystems was because they magically transformed the land to make the ecosystems that they liked so that they could all live there peacefully. And we all know that it has not gone so peacefully at all. But yeah, that's where Udeland comes from. It's a clear reference to Ude being like the first land, Udeland. And the Draconic Council was formed there where, the aspects of Cyorion, that's where they had their sanctum and where they decided to raise and have offspring. As they were kind of working with the rest of the world, they had this little sanctum back here. And then eventually, after things started working and people were, starting to learn how to be a civilization on their own, like the elves, the Amafea, they had their own thing going. They started writing history. Then the aspects took off, and then that's when Udeland started to go tits up. We left a bunch of all-powerful dragons to their own devices. They got bored, and they were like, hey, let's start hunting these other creatures that are up here. Humans are fun to hunt. So they were operating around here in Geet, going after all the humans on this continent. And then that's why humans eventually retreated back to the steppes of Galea. And that's the primary human continent, is this kind of Nordic, Scottish, Highlands type vibe. Because the story there went that the dragons had a hard time navigating the fjords and thick fog and the highlands, and they would like run into cliffs and stuff. So the humans guerrilla warfared them from those cliff sides to survive against these dragons. That's where Dragonborn came from, is like the dragons got tired of that hunting them for sport and tried to create Dragonborn to be like envoys. And that went terribly because the very first Dragonborn envoy to the Galean Commonwealth was assassinated by the humans. Like they brought him into this feast and they straight up murdered like 2/3 of the complement, and like a couple of them made it back, and the dragons were like, cool, this war's not over. And then they started warring on the northern continent. They got into Geet and stuff, and yeah, everything's got violent history. Like it's all got its stuff that we don't like to talk about, and that's why humans and dragonborns get along fine now. But yeah, for obvious reasons, there's other shit going on that most people don't know about. Like what's really going on with the dragonborn now.
Because, until Doran's loudmouth starts to run around telling everyone.
Oh, there is a fuzz in my wine. That is unacceptable. No wine fuzz.
No wine fuzz.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, there's we have another player, Kate, who's very into dragons. Very into dragons. I think I posted in the private players club. There is the dragon class combo that starts at level 9, and spoilers, no spoilers, somebody may be joining us playing a dragon class race combo as a guest NPC, which will open up that class race combo as a playable within the world. And there's actually lore as to why it's going to work going forward. One of those beautiful things of like, oh, it clicked in my head because of course it makes sense for it to work like that. So that'll all be revealed in the future. And then maybe you can live out the true dragon fantasy of getting to be a dragon.
Ooh. Tempting me now.
I know. She's like, so my main character can just die now, right? And I can just be this. Love it. Okay, well, let's see if there's a name you can remember.
Okay.
You remember who Yaren is?
Yaren. Hang on, I'm gonna open up my notes because I think I wrote that down in my notes.
You definitely did. This was. I'll give you a hint that it was early enough on. You were likely still keeping your notes as a good, diligent note-taking person.
Let's see here. There's the tabletop folder. There's the D&D folder. There's the Cyorion folder. There's my notes. I have no notes about Yaren.
No. Well, we will go back because this goes back to one of our first episodes. So when we review what happened in Cyorion, we talk about this little shore town here. I got it up on my stream screen. Maidatona, which is a quiet little fishing village on the seacoast.
Was Yaren the husband of the I forget what race she was, but like the bandit camp people?
Rogar was the husband. Yaren was the Goliath woman.
That was Yaren.
That was Yaren.
For some reason I had it her name was like an S in my head. It was S something. No, that was Yaren was the Goliath. Yeah. Okay.
Yaren was our Goliath woman, and we will go ahead and we'll give you a half a point for that one. You were close enough. We'll give you.
It was like Yaren. That sounds Yaren. I guess Okay. Yeah. That was the Goliath warrior who was the wife of the bandit camp leader, and she came to our rescue and probably didn't make it, if we're being honest. But then probably got returned and is now gonna at some point show up with her gigantic ballista arrow that looks like a spear.
That is true. So she was she's a Goliath who is also from the steppes of Galea, way up north there. They hung out with the folk from fucking as we live and breathe. Nate's posting pictures of Hawaii.
Oh, of course he is.
Literally just.
God, that's beautiful.
What a guy. Just digging that knife in and twisting it a little deeper.
So you guys are at home talking. Here's just look at this beautiful cliffside.
Gorgeous. Asshole. Yeah, so early on, our first stop with the group, everybody had a session 0, which brought them to the little town of Midatona, this coastal harbor that grew up around a fishing village. It's about 3,200 people. It was a good sized town. It was the largest town to the north of Busat, one of the northernmost towns of this Busat Protectorate is what the kingdom is called. In this little section here.
Yeah.
And of course, like I said, early on, the very first note that I have is when I said Midatona, and all you assholes went, Midatona. Ruined it.
I love it. Yeah, it ruined it so bad. You went...
Ruined it so bad.
It's gone. It's gone now.
Town
is wiped off the map.
Town's wiped off the map.
Town blew up.
It's still there at this point in our review, but it's gonna be gone. It's so dead.
We'll get to that part. I'm jumping the gun.
That part. So yeah, we the game opened with you guys kind of, some of you had come back from Fort Rawing on a mission. Unbeknownst to you, you were escorting Maximiel, who was under cover of like hood and darkness with her traveling partner, and they were on their way back to Midatona to deliver this book to a wizard. We had a couple people, we had Diggin at the time coming from the Kids of Exodus Luminary Academy on a mission to meet up with this wizard out of Elric Varen was his name. He was like the field contact that they were trying to meet. And there was an old gentleman, an old wizard in Midatona that you guys were there to meet. And the scene opened with like an explosion in his tower, which was above the back of the tavern. And you guys were all in the tavern, and Maximiel's like getting accosted and arrested possibly in the streets. The guys like fleeing over the rooftops. Tarak and Doran, I think, immediately took chase, trying to go like chase after this guy. Like early on, Max shows up and you guys are like, we must protect her.
Very much instinctive Big Brother mode activated. I mean, definitely, because like Maximiel gives off that vibe of like the little sister who's always causing trouble.
Yeah, okay.
And like thinks she's got it most of the time, and most of the time she does. But then other times it's like, there's an explosion, I need help. Somebody help me, please. It's like, hang on, we're there.
Well, you guys then like took off because, well, you went and followed that person who was taking off to the north. And do you remember the group of bandits, like what that bandits group name was?
Oh, group of the bandits. That was the Ivory Phantoms.
Yeah. Got it. So Shalfa, who was the...
I have Yaren in my notes. I'm just now seeing it. I am absolutely... Wow, I can't even read my own notes. It says right here, Ivory Phantoms killed bandit men, left women and children alive. Goliath woman Yaren, who was wife of bandit leader, wants revenge, so she came with us.
Yep.
I just had it a little further down.
Said to scroll a little bit more. Yeah, so you guys took off. Were contracted by Shalfa, who led the Hammers of Midatona, that mercenary brigade, to basically go to the Ivory Phantoms camp and figure out what the hell and get this book back. And you guys showed up there, did some scouting about. You found a wanted poster basically with another Dragonborn on it at the time, which was a big early tip off. That was session like 1 or 2, and we were dropping bombs about the fangs of Kirmi. What's up?
And that is that's all in my notes, including. Can I get a half a point for telling you the name of the?
No, Odin can sit next to Grandma Knight. Yep, because I'm just busy with this, so sorry, I had to just double check something real fast.
Hey, life, it happens.
Life happens.
But can I get a point for telling you the name of that Dragonborn?
I'll give you a point for that if you can name it.
That was Keth Torion.
It was Keth Torion.
The bronze Dragonborn slain by his niece Ariana.
Oh, you even remembered her name. Dang, that wasn't a what you don't see moment too.
Yeah, it was.
Oh man, love to see it. Yeah, so you guys had at that point you guys showed up and found the Ivory Phantoms. You thought like this was a group of bandits that was supposedly working with the Ivory Phantoms, and you guys were trying to figure out what you were going to do, and things suddenly got really quiet, and that whole camp came under siege. Yarn found out like that you guys were, well, like there was some issues there that you guys may or may not have been a part of it, but that goes back to our old buddy who was trying to smooth things over and be a real boy at the beginning. So let's go back to an old character and get Zach's thoughts on Diggin's big moment for Zach in the campaign.
Diggin's big moment I mean, when you're talking about Diggin and big moments, you're talking about that moment. Which,
I mean, is that a Diggin moment or is that a Galaxolin moment?
See, and that's the thing is like, I'm thinking, okay, I will say my backup moment, if we're counting that as a Galaxolin moment, my backup moment is the entirety of being in Kosoba. The way he was just glitched out and talking like we are Legion, we are, and like all that stuff was like, what is going on? Something is wrong with Diggin. We need to figure this out because this is bad.
So much is wrong with Diggin.
So much was wrong with Diggin. So getting to roleplay that out was a ton of fun because it's like Josh knows what's going on. He's playing it perfectly, and we're all just in the dark like, what the hell's going on here? Yeah. Quick, somebody roll an Arcana check. We're all rolling like crap. We're never going to find out until it happens. And sure enough.
Yeah, that's a good Diggin moment. I would say that was a pretty pivotal moment for his character. Yeah, there was some issues that happened for Diggin there that he did not, the old Galaxolin Diggin chart that was on the back of my notebook here the whole time. He did not do too well in Mitatona. We'll put it that way.
Yeah.
Or not in Mitatona, in Kosoba. But yeah, so from there we had the very clear not a trap of the dinosaur in the jungle there.
Oh yeah.
it was definitely trapped in a trap, and I think it was Diggin along with Soren snuck up there and was like, those ropes are not holding that thing.
Yeah.
And then the goblins jumped out and you guys were just like, didn't see that one coming.
Yeah. Just the idea of like Diggin and Soren, both of them being very stealthy boys, and being able to get up there and just be like, it's a trick, get an axe, like yeah. Obviously, yeah.
So that was after we had gone up to Fort Rawing, and at that point you guys had taken Yarn up to Fort Rawing with you, and that was the point where you guys ended up getting registered.
When we officially became the Midnight Parliament.
Yeah, and then you were registered with the Adventurers Guild, never to be heard from again as you ventured off into the jungle.
Ventured off into the jungle, pissed off a goddess of rot, slipped through a wormhole into another dimension.
Yeah. So you guys had, at that point, registered as the Midnight Parliament. And then Fort Rawing was the first place that the majority of you discovered the true pain of playing with me, and that is hunger pains when it's close to dinner time. And Ben is also getting hungry and describes food in way too much detail.
Yeah. Just talking about all the meats and breads and veggies and meads and beers and
Yum.
Yeah, that's good.
That was put together by a specific individual there who happened to be the first touch that you guys met, that you kind of found out later. So do you remember that person's name?
I do. It is Maribel.
Yeah. A little bit of hey, Monsterfex. A little bit of confusion with some of my other players. They were just like Maribel because Maribel's Folly is the name of one of the other campaigns, and people were very confused at what the hell was going on. And I was like, no, different Maribel. that Maribel
People
most
could share
definitely
names.
died. Yes, people can share names. That Maribel is so very, very dead. But you guys took off from Fort Rawing to hopefully go out and find Elric Varen at the Wauti ruins, the place out in the jungle there, where there was an Ivory Phantoms camp nearby. But then you guys came to Bayenta, which was just like one of the most interesting little villages out in the jungle that people had not been admitted to. Found some folks out there. Got to meet up with I've got my massive list of NPCs, but Kyoki was out there.
Kyoki, the leader of the Amalfea.
Yep. They were trying to. What is this Ivory the modern one. I had to separate my Ivory Phantoms notes into two, because there was the Ivory Phantoms that were all dead and touched, and then there was the guy that was still using the Ivory Phantoms name to get what he needed, because he managed to live through that initial assault. But Kyoki ran the Amalfea of Bayenta. She was married to a guy named Ginto, but you guys never actually met him, because Ginto he didn't interact with outsiders. Really, Kyoki was kind of the spiritual leader of the Amalfea.
Yeah.
Which you guys worked with them, found out about the Wauti ruins, that they really consider that holy site, and the goblins had taken over, but their warriors can go in there. Only the religious folks can go in there. It was like against their religion to send their combatants in there. And you guys ran off with a whole bunch of people. She just hanging out here for a bit? Yeah. Okay. My puppy's hanging out with me.
Oh, puppy.
Hold on. We see if we can get Puppy on stream. Come here, Gigi. She's a big puppers. Cover, puppy. You want to go and see everybody?
Puppers.
No, she's like, she wants to play. She's not sure what's going on. Come here. Come on, She doesn't want to. She wants to go play. I'm not going to play right now. I'm sorry, baby. Yeah, so they had some interesting ways of saying things too. They threw you off a bit too, like these. They had some mispronounced words like Gawaira was Gwayer. You guys had figured out, and they kind of all went back to that first like big tip off that things were not as they seem, as we found out that Draconic and Dragonborn shared a root language with Elvish. And people kind of went, I think that was one of the first times I got some really weird looks from Sarah as I was explaining everything. But all that aside, you guys continued then to the Wauti ruins to figure out what was down there, and ran into your first touched, which was just all sorts of fun interestingness. That was an individual that was a necromancer. That the fun thing about Cyorion being that, you know, lots of other adventuring groups are out doing things. There's lots of things happening in the world, and we've tried to make an effort to cross that over. It's the first time like you guys have been able to see it with the Owl's Perch Brigade performing troupe, and the play about what was happening elsewhere in the world. There's a whole business around adventuring, and it's, you know, they put you guys up because you guys sell good stories, and somebody a long time ago figured the best way to do that is to centralize the knowledge of those stories and sell them for profit and have bards perform them, because that's a really consistent way to pull in money. So some necromancer got elsewhere in the world by a group, and he was not done being alive yet, and the only body he found was the body of that poor goblin shaman, which he came back and just absolutely bastardized and took over the Wauti Ruins temple and like made a huge hot mess. But that was Max kind of saved the day there with the cursed astral or the cursed glue. Shoot, there's a special term for it in D&D. Shoot. I can't remember the name of it, but there's a name for that glue that, this one was definitely messed up with that black goop that kind of came up out of the floor. So we'll segue that into the Doran. What's the Max Emil moment? The Max Emil Archambault moment for Zach.
Oh man.
As I pour some more wine.
Gosh, I mean, the moment I think that kind of changed everything was like the revelation of, oh, by the way, Max is actually a trade princess of a major city, and learning that element of her backstory, and then the stuff that went on with that. Like, those sessions were incredible. I mean, not that they're all incredible, but I mean, that was like, wow, okay, we're really getting into the nitty gritty of Max's story and learning, and then what happened with her and her family. I was like, oh boy, okay, everyone's got high stakes in this. This is bad.
Everyone had some pretty damn high stakes in it.
So and learning that she's also a victim of Valatarthex. And it's like that sort of sparked a kinship even more of just like, obviously Doran had that whole like protective older brother, but then like learning that, oh wait, you're also hey, shared trauma. Nothing makes friends like shared trauma.
Adventurers aren't happy people at heart. Yeah, they've got issues.
So learning that affected her as well. That was I think a nice sort of a reminder to Doran of why he's doing what he's doing, and it's like, no more. No other people are going to suffer like this anymore.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Well, coming back then from the Wauti ruins, and anybody who's hanging out with us watching today, if you got any questions about Cyorion or the story or where we're going, where we've been, if you got some burning desire to know something, post a question in chat, and I may reveal some things today. We'll see. I don't know. But any hoozle.
What is the veil?
Well, the veil's just nighttime. But what causes it? I mean, out of character knowledge, that it's a half a Dyson sphere.
Yeah.
I will tell you this: the Sunday game learned the full truth. Yeah.
Oh my god.
The Sunday game knows the full truth because they spent some time at a place. There was a castle of a wizard. And he happened to be a multi-dimensional time traveling wizard. Like he knew some shit.
Hey, if you're gonna get your answers, yeah, you get your answers from a guy like that.
Yep, he was a multiplanar traveling wizard in a world where you can't travel interplanarly. So he was old. Like, he came from pre-Burroughs time and got himself in a bad situation. And they found his castle, and it had some answers. And Mina, the one whose mom you guys ran into, her mind was obviously getting blown as she's like realizing all these things on a character level, and was just playing it perfectly. So it was a big moment getting to share that with a small subset, but unfortunately it's not live on the stream yet, so I can't make it live for everybody.
No.
So they're all sitting on this knowledge, and they are sitting on it before you guys get to know, and they're all just giddy that they know stuff before the stream does, and they're just cackling with glee as they watch you all squirm.
So Sunday game members, if you end up watching this, just drop your Venmo.
My DMs are open.
I'll make it worth your while. Yeah, my DMs are open.
Love it. Well, you guys took off from there, went back to the Amalthea, and kind of gave them the information that they needed. Gave them the book. You had found out, or they had found that Elric Varen was being held by what was now the Ivory Phantoms in a camp, kind of southeastish of the city, And you guys knew you needed to save Elric because he had been studying this stuff and he had lost the book. But the part of the deal was you guys clear out the temple, their warriors would find Elric for you and you guys could go rescue him. So quid pro quo, you guys cleared out the temple. They were super happy with you and they were like, hey, we know where he's at. We got a whole bunch of people and we're going to send him with you. And you guys rolled up on that camp like 12 people deep. Yaron was there. All the Amafea warriors came with you, like 6 of them, and they were like, let's get this bread. And you showed up. Elric was there, and the leader of the Phantoms at the time knew like he needed to keep Elric alive. That was kind of the deal. Because I mean, he knew the stuff, but really like nobody else could read it outside the Amafea, and the Amafea weren't going to give up the secrets. So I think it was, let's see, Garrick was the guy's name.
It is.
Yep, Garrick.
Garrick the Tooth, Garrick the Blind, Garrick the Blade.
Yep, he had a lot of sassy bandit names.
Mm-hmm.
And he basically, the fun story on that guy is he the out of character knowledge, and this is old knowledge that I don't think you guys will ever find. So he had some servants of Amana had attacked the Phantoms on the west coast of Katala, and he offered to exchange information to the servants of Amana for things that they were interested in, like the Galvana di Cristo, I think it was the Galvea di Custo. Galvea di Custo was the name of the book. Like he's like, I can get that book, I can tell you the stuff you need to know if you let me live. And that's why Garrick ran the Ivory Phantoms, is the servants of Amana unalived everybody else. They came back as touched, and a few of them had come back as touched and were like living in the bandit camp. Like when they got killed again, some of those people were still touched, like Rogar was touched. Yaron was already touched. Like those guys had all already been killed before by servants of Amana, and somebody wanted them back. My personal headcanon on that is that was Brendoinum's first attempt before she knew about you guys. She's like, these guys just got killed. I need people out on the front lines. I'm gonna bring them all back. And she like interceded in the great cosmic afterlife and was like, these people all need to come back. He was trading information to the servants of Amana in exchange for basically getting to stay alive.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why those motherfuckers showed up. Frosty Boy showed up, and you guys all had to deal with him, which was super fun because I described him as a figure who was skeletal in appearance but was cloaked, and everybody went, "Oh, it's a lich. Oh, he's got ice spells."
Yeah.
And then I think the wheels turned later when there was the reveal talking about the other lieutenant, and everyone was like, motherfucker, that guy was a Yurig too.
That's because we had also, you said saying it was a skeleton. He said no, I said it was skeletal like, and we went, son of a bitch. Ah!
Yeah, skeletal in appearance. Got him.
Yeah.
So Garrick had his deal. Yaron said she'd stay behind to give you guys cover. You guys rescued Elric Varen, got the book back. The Galvaya de Custo, this ancient book that had information about ley lines, and in the back was a secret compartment. And with the help of Kyoki, who had half the key, the other half of the key was with the Astrakiran, and Elric was it's fun. My note updated here because it originally said they sent Diggin with the 7-faceted star portion of the key to meet up with Elric Varen, and it updated since I updated Diggin in my notes to Galaxlin. It says they sent Galaxlin with the 7-faceted star. It's brutal. My heart.
That hurts.
I love it.
That hurts.
So they popped open that book, and in the back was that secret map that gave you guys the information on how to get to the lost city of Kasoba. Which, was a super, super interesting and fun puzzle that I really enjoyed doing. But en route to that puzzle, you guys came upon a dwarven mining outpost, Gorlid. Which this is a you guys haven't interacted with the dwarves much, but do you remember the difference between the Tal and Mol Gorlid? What the difference was and special about dwarven cities?
Oh gosh. It's like one is mined out only to be dwarven size, and the others are for like trade, so they're accommodating to other races? Or am I pulling that out of my ass?
Giving you a point for that.
Okay, cool.
Because the Tal Gorled is the trading city on the surface. Dwarven cities are built as sister cities in pairs. There is a mining operation and city that is under the surface that is, as you said, mined out to be only dwarven size because usually only dwarves work down there. And the Tal Gorled, Tal, is when they refer to him, it's Mol is the mine, MOL apostrophe city name, and then Tal, Tal, is the surface trading city.
Mol and Tal, yeah.
So when they refer to it, most dwarves would just call it Gorlid. But people would be like, oh, you're going to Tal Gorled? And they'd be like, yeah, and they wouldn't know. They would just call it Tal Gorled because that's what it's marked as on a map, is Tal Gorled, because the dwarves are like, this is the mining city. But then the dwarven architecture and the underground maps that they have would mark Mal Gorled a little bit further away because usually it's subsurface and at an angle so the mine carts can go up and down. Yeah, you get a free point for that one.
I cannot believe I remembered that.
You did. I'm so happy that you remembered these things because that means we've made an impact. It makes me happy.
This is I'm recalling knowledge from over a year ago.
Here's some knowledge recall for you.
Okay.
You guys met an NPC there.
Yes.
Who you guys just straight up fucking passed on. Do you happen to remember that person's name? And I will accept any one of the 4 names I gave you for that person.
So, well, we know that the dwarf outpost was run by a man named Ebic.
Yep.
And it turns out that Ebic was actually Captain Arlie, the unseen Garside.
Oh, damn. I'm going to give you this is some good notes, buddy. You're going to get 2 points for that one.
Hang on. On her ship called the Sea Demon.
Love it. What was special about her?
Good notes that session.
She was a fun one. She's a very active character since you guys freed her in the Sunday game. You guys saved her ship from here. She took back off, went back up to Geet, and was pretty busy up in Geet.
I'm just now putting it together that that's her ship.
What's her ship?
The one we saved.
Yeah, that was her ship that was trapped.
I am just putting that together as of this second. Yep. Oh my god, I'm stupid.
They renamed it and painted the name Hickleton on it because Ebic had a ship named Hickleton.
Oh,
but as soon as you guys freed it, they stripped Hickleton back off and rebranded it the Sea Demon as she made her way.
I was too distracted by the goth memes. So.
Oh, the goth memes were so good.
The goth.
God, do we have the goth picture? I gotta see here if we do.
I don't know if it's all the way back a year ago.
We're gonna go Art Share 2 and see if I've got this in here because sometimes it appears in my folders somewhere. There's just some random bullshit that people come up with, like goth. God, I hated it, but I loved it.
That was our first major smackdown fight too, because Diggin managed to get surprise on the goth, and then we just took turns pummeling the shit out of it.
We did. I gave you guys that sneak up, and there was all sorts of cool shit you guys sneaking up there, and then you absolutely pummeled it.
Was that did Max embiggen me for that fight for the first time?
She might have. I think Max made you real big for that one.
I'm seeming to remember being large for that one and being like, what the hell's going on here?
And then smashing the goth.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a note here that we were starting with the fight, no pre-chat, because it was like right when you guys had shown up there was when you were about to fight the Goth, and that's where all the memes came from. But you guys did beat that thing's butt. There was the weird tattoos on Ebic that were not matching up properly because people were you spotted that one specifically, which is probably why you took such good notes, is because you were like, I see this bitch and I know you ain't a dwarf. I figured you out. Yeah,
Changeling, of course.
Yeah, she was a non bad changeling. Like, she was not actually trying to get you like the other ones were. Gidget.
Not part of the Ebon Hand.
Yeah. She was not a changeling from the Ebon Hand. Changelings are not native to Cyorion. They're native to other places, and obviously they've just come here from doing other things. But this one had found her way here and was like, you know what? I ain't gonna be doing any of this badness that these other ones are doing. And she had like left society to do her own thing. And she became a pirate. And, you know, she kind of did her own damn thing.
As you do.
As you would, yeah. So yeah, you guys sorted that out with you saved the Hickleton. You let Ebic / the unseen Arlie Garside move. Also, very on the nose name for a fucking changeling. I think we all determined.
Yeah, I love it. And yeah, like you said, we were very just like, nope, we don't want to have anything to do with this. Okay, bye, we're gonna leave now.
Yeah, I was like, I set up this cool NPC, and so I said, fuck you guys, and now she's a major proponent of the Sunday game. She has sent the Sunday team on missions, and then she is now sailing with them to the Kutala Keys to do pirate shit. So she is involved.
See, had we not been so gung-ho about we have to find the portal, man, we could have had fun pirate adventures. Damn.
That's not my fault.
Nope, that is purely a party faux pas on that one. We all decided, no, we don't want to deal with this right now. We're gonna go.
Which is totally fine because, you know, that's how we did this game. I threw out all these threads, and you guys took what was interesting to you, which worked out wonderfully because then you made your way to the Heart of Light.
Ah, yes.
And you jumped into a pool of weirdness, which, yeah. We'll share this. It's been long enough now. So here is my original notes for how to enter the lost city of Kosoba. We know it was clear that it was established by the Amalfea. Like, there was Amalfea architecture, and there were some statues there. The Amalfea had like creatures attracted by the ley lines. We talked about, like, you know, the cubes and stuff that were there. But the interesting part was the entering Kosoba from the Kosoba map specifically. Yes, it is. I do love giving them lots of things to fixate on, and this is such a hyper fixating group. It was strange because that was probably like session 8 or 9, maybe. It was fairly early on, I would say, that one where you guys met Arlie. And I had given them so many things that they had already hyper fixated on. It was awesome because I had just given them story exhaustion. They were just like, we have too many things. We can't deal with this bitch. We're gonna keep moving. And I was like, cool. We found the limit. The birds. We can't have the birds be enemies. That's why we made the oh my gosh, what is their name? Oh, as I look over and I see all my NPC lists and stuff up, we're gonna go ahead and just like minimize that shit. There we go. Yeah, we had, that's in the world lore, the where the hell are they? There's Bellatet. There's the constellation. What was the name of that? Races. There it is. The Bayaji and the Akuros. Yeah. So the Akuros was my wyvern hominid, which can't have him hate the birds. I like the birds too much. So yeah, this is the design of the pool and how to get into Kosoba. Obviously the runes covered with this was the first thing that you guys did is you stood in there and started taking your damage as you failed a couple things, and then you guys were doing some stuff, and Doran was the one standing in the pool, and he got out. And then it shifted in a random direction, because that was the plan from the beginning, was to have it shift somewhere if you climbed out. And sure enough, just as I had hoped, Doran climbed out of it on the first attempt. And it was like, I remember that night because it was late. It was the end of the night. And you guys were like, we're so close. And then you climbed out and I'm like, it shifts. And you guys were like, no, we chased it down. And I'm like, we could go for another 10 minutes. Let's go. you guys followed it on the map. You chased it the fuck down. You're like, okay, this time we're standing in. Yeah, it was a pretty basic puzzle. Was, to basically make it so a person could reach neighboring runes, and you guys needed to press some of the runes. I think you guys needed to cover everything except for 2 and 6, which was light and heart.
Mm-hmm.
And we had the Bradige rune, and then we also had the translation. Which was interesting because there were some other Bradige runes at some point that because Sarah is Sarah, she was like, I'm going to learn all of these, and I started to have to become a fucking linguist and come up with this language because she's like, I need to know what this means, and I'm like, sure, dumbass Ben, there's definitely these runes on here. And she's like, cool, what does it say? I'm like, fuck, I knew it, she was gonna do it, she did it to me.
Oh yeah.
I learned very quickly not to be fucking around with languages and you guys, because you hook on to them. Hi, Sarah. There's Sarah.
Speaking of Sarah, hi, Sarah.
Speak of the devil.
Speak of the devil. There she is. Oh, man. No, I got to fix the camera overlays because Sarah's in here.
Oh, yeah. I wasn't planning on showing my face.
That is fine, but
okay.
I just need to fix it so Zach's face is fixed. But hi, Sarah. Nice to see you.
How are y'all doing?
We are
doing dandy. We just got to the portal to Kosoba.
Oh, good vibes. That was one of my favorite sessions.
That was a very good time. I really enjoyed that one. I'm trying to undo that. Undo that. Let's see if I can just lock that. There we go. Fixing camera stuff on the fly here. We'd love to see it. So we've been asking Zach, and Zach is earning some fucking points here for you guys. I was like, if Zach can name some old NPCs as I'm like going through asking him stuff, then I was gonna give you guys all inspiration. And so far, he's knocked everybody out of the park.
Nice.
He's nailed them all. It's been wonderful.
Yeah.
Okay, there we go. I fixed it up, so we got Zach's camera back in frame. But there is a Sarah here too. So hi, Sarah.
Hello.
So yeah, that was an interesting puzzle getting through this one. And this I was showing off on stream. I didn't know if you could watch the stream at all, but I actually put up the original design notes for the entering Kosoba puzzle and how it all worked. There was a point where if you had been failing enough at 7 fails with the DC rising every time you failed, there's a chart on there. But if you had failed 7 or more times, the DC had become 18 at that point, and you were taking 48 plus 8 psychic damage per fail.
Jesus.
And I mean, you were like level 5, I think, when you guys got to this puzzle.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, it would have been rough.
That would
would have been no
fun.
bueno.
Yeah. Very painful.
TPK, because the party can't understand how the portal works.
No. You figured it out. I mean, the nice thing was I kind of like, as I was putting this together, I was like, well, if he climbs out of the pole or if he goes unconscious, then it's going to teleport away. And then it would have just like booped you up onto the ground and teleported away because you were unconscious in the pool, just laying there going, oh. Love it. So yeah, that brought you into Kosoba. And you know, I hate to ask the person who has all the fucking notes, but I'm gonna softball lob the number 6 point up to Ooh, no. I was gonna ask you first of all who was Tarok's cousin, technically, who we had just recently seen, Illyria,
Yes.
who we had just spoke to. But here's a good one for you. What was the name of the deep gnome that did most of the translation and helped you with digging while you guys were in Kosovo?
I have the name written down in my notes.
But you can't find your notes? Oh, this is it?
No.
Oh,
okay.
No,
I can find my notes. I just didn't know if it was an open note quiz.
Oh, it's open note. This is open note. You can go back to your notes.
Oh, yeah.
It's open note. Get your notes.
I'll be back in a second.
We need all the points we can get.
This is it. I mean, if she has this, we're just giving you guys inspiration to start the next session. But yeah, you guys had then come to Kosoba at this point, which
I have returned. I'm opening my notebook.
let's go back to our scenes here and see if we have
Barrick.
Barrick is correct. Yeah, Barrick the deep gnome.
He had a broken set of glasses and a feather in his hat.
He did. He was just the fabulous little fella.
Do I get bonus points for that?
I mean, at this point, it was basically everyone was going to get inspiration because Zach had knocked it out of the park, and then you had to come in here and just be like, I totally know that guy. He's in my notes.
Yeah. Sarah's notes are the cherry on top.
Yeah.
So we need to, let's see here. Let's see if we can do an art check, because I've got the Kosoba map in here somewhere. But that was the point at which you guys had come to this far off spot. That is not the maps folder I was looking for. Custom maps? No. Here's the real question is where the hell did Ben put all his maps in all these map folders? Ridiculous.
I'm looking through my notes right now, and not only do I have notes, but I also have little sketches throughout. And I have a very funny picture of like a clown, and pointing at it is quote chosen end quote of Arkaroth.
Why you gotta make fun of Arkaroth's chosen like that? So
Because
rude.
they deserve it.
They are kind of jerks.
They're absolutely jerks.
They're clowns, and you know, not the fun type.
So you guys, here's our map of Kosoba. This was as you guys were getting to Kosoba, I had this rough idea of how it was going to work, and I was so frantic like that weekend before because I think I had gotten sick the week before and I couldn't figure out, and then I had a fever dream about Kosoba, and it just all coalesced together so perfectly.
It just works.
It does. Everything just works so far in this, and we love to see it. But you guys had shown up on marker number 7 here, which was one of the 4 portal entries into Kosoba. They are marked on the map there. Number 2 is the one that's actually overrun by those cockroach creatures.
Ooh.
So
we could have had to deal with that.
You guys could not actually come in from number 2's spot.
Okay.
That gate is not accessible to you. However, number 4 is where you guys found the folks from Eterna, which is, you know, obviously the portal from Eterna leads to the number 4 spot. The spot you guys came in from Kutala brought you to number 7, and then this was around the time that Maximil was still praising Kutala and reaching out to her as if it was a goddess.
Yes.
Which I don't know if that was a misinterpretation. That's some clarity that begs the question: did Maximil think, or did I mislead Maximil into thinking that Kutala was a goddess? That the Amaphea worshipped Kutala, and that this was a goddess of creation of some kind?
She thinks of Kutala as a sort of god, but this is partially my interpretation, because my interpretation of religion can be that it doesn't have to necessarily be a sort of person. And so she was worshiping Katala as a god, and actually still kind of does. I don't really say it out loud, but every once in a while I'm thinking like, oh, Maximil probably like said goodnight to Mama Katala.
I like
just randomly.
I want to say, I think there is also some aspect of, because I seem to recall vaguely the concept of Katala as the name of a goddess of this jungle, that like she's the one that watches over the entire jungle. So I think there also may be some misinterpretation on our point.
That's exactly the point. That's actually the purpose, and that's the point behind the metaphysical in Cyorion and the way it works.
So is a goddess or it isn't? Because Max took it to be like goddess.
It is technically, but then that's kind of the purpose. Is there's a concept and a cartoon of someone a flag with a rabbit head on it, and then another army with a flag with a duck head on it, but it's the same picture. And they say our duck god will reign supreme over their rabbit god, and it's the same picture. And that's the purpose. Is Cyorion deities. And we'll go into this for another god here in mind map, in my little notes program here. But if we go look at, let's see here. Nope, not that one. Do not go back and look at that, please. That was an accidental mouse over. So Alaric here, and we're definitely not looking at the Amana one. Alaric
zoom in enhance.
So the Alaric is worshipped over in the Kashin Empire as. And it comes from this, he's an Ono level deity, but there's the Divine Council, the Kazakh, and the Ono. This is my back-end system. And Ono are like demigods or minor level deities, whereas Kazakh are what most people would worship these days. And we'll go off of this one here, because we have Yugtut here, who Eric, there it is. So this goes back in the history to the Curse of the Blood Orcs, and Alaric had fought basically against a god who had taken the form of an orc. He was so impressed with Alaric that he dueled him, and Alaric drew blood against him. So Arik gave Alaric godhood status, but this Kazakh, Eric, is actually also worshipped elsewhere as Thuthina, which is a goddess of battle and anguish. It's a woman with two faces, one perpetually showing a battle cry and a thirst for battle, and the other was anguish and horror that's supposed to show the duality of war. And it's all this kind of system that's put together that you could literally be worshiping a god that you think does something in some way. A good example is the Night Mother, the Veil Mother, who was as a trickster goddess, who also happens to be worshipped as another god in Eterna. And that's kind of the point, is that these gods are a single entity, but they serve multiple names that mortals know them by. So Katala is the name for, and this is non-player knowledge, so I don't mind sharing it. Like, you guys your player characters would never learn this. But that is the name for one of the gods of life that serves directly underneath as a Kazakh level god. So this is someone who serves one of these 7 prime deities, like the masters of the universe, and is in charge of like the entire domain of life. And Katala was one of the ones that, as you guys know her, was one of the ones that spread some of the original life to Cyorion. So, is she a god? Sure. Is she known by a whole bunch of other names? Absolutely. Do many people worship the name Katala anymore? Not so much. So, that's where it gets fun, is because there's this whole, for me, and for like future campaigns, hints at campaign 2, there is a lot of the gods are fallible in Cyorion. Like, they switch sides, they change who they work for. It's just a way of life for them. They switch who they're working for and they do stuff. Like a big thing with that last thing we talked about with the Kazakh Eric here, and he was enticed to betray life and serve death. He betrayed, or he convinced the Ono Yugtut, who served life and created the orcs, to instead be like, yo, orcs should totally serve the death god. And that's what created the Blood Orc curse. Is because it's not anything that the orcs did. It's because the creator of orcs is fallible and was like, sure, I'm going to go serve death instead because that sounds cooler. So there's all sorts of things going on with the gods that they're not necessarily directly helping people of the world. You know, and that's kind of why it's fun when you're just like, yeah, I'm going to praise Katala. I'm like, cool. Nobody fucking does that anymore, but Katala probably sure is happy. Whoever actual Katala is. So yeah, fun max insight there. I do like that. Thank you.
Yeah.
But yeah, going back from here, you guys had some interesting times in Kosoba, I'm pretty sure I told you guys off stream what the entity under Kosoba was. Did I? I don't remember.
I'm trying to rack my brain.
I remember hearing something, but I don't know if you ever actually told us or if you just said, like, you gave dark hints about what it was.
Yeah, possibly. I think I was talking about the Critical Role 4-part mini-series with the Ring of Brass and like dealing with the gods and stuff. Yeah, there's some nastiness under Kosoba. But that's not shit that you guys dealt with, so we'll just move on. So here is where we played Gaslighting, the D&D adventure.
Oh, right.
Yeah, you guys had gone over you met with the Farallon and the deep gnomes and some of the deep dwarves. Basically you met Tasaji, which was an uncle to Tarak, and Illyria, Tarak's cousin.
I thought his name was Tasoj.
Tasoj? My fucking chicken scratch notes are so terrible I can't read it. It looked like Tasoj. Tasoj sounds right.
I can check what I was told to write.
Correcting the DM is negative points. Let's just put that. No, I'm kidding. You're fine. Totally valid.
I will remain silent if you want me to.
No, don't.
Okay, so it was TI''SOHJ, and I think we pronounced it Tasoj.
That is correct. Yep. Nope, that works perfectly with my chicken scratch. I understand it now. I can read it. Okay. But yeah, that was Tarak's uncle. When you met Illyria, Tarak's cousin. There was some weird shit with digging near the edge of the void over the nothingness. The cavern was full of crystals. There was a direct inspiration from a shitty 90s movie called The Core, which is how I designed Kosoba, because it had all these like crystal structures on the ceiling and stuff. And I loved, when I was a kid, this scene of them crashing into this massive geode that like you stood inside it. It was just the internals of it was a massive geode. So that's what designed the ceiling of Kosoba, was this massive geode. I just thought it was super cool. So I totally plugged that in there because magic, and that's why it works.
Yep.
Hell yeah.
I'm saying because magic because there's
shit.
an actual explanation for it, but I'm just not ready to reveal it yet. So.
Oh.
Ooh.
Oh.
Ooh.
Fascinating.
So yeah, there was the list of people figuring shit out as you guys were on clocks to figure out gaslighting the D&D game.
Right.
Because you guys went to what was the name of the tavern? Because I gave you like 4 or 5 of them.
One of them had something to do with bosoms.
Yeah, so
and I remember that because I got made fun of for seeing that. Blossom, the second Blossom or something.
Yep, it was the second Blossom was originally the name of the tavern, and then the next time you went outside, it was the second Bosom.
Yeah.
The bard's name was the Silver-Tongued Lyre, and then it was the Sliver-Tongued Lyre, and then it was the Tongued Lyre, and then the Silver Harp. Like his name changed the more you spoke to him, like each day that went past, and we basically had Groundhog Day gaslighting.
Love that for us.
Oh yeah, I did too. It was
It's one of my favorite sci-fi tropes is the Groundhog Day time loop.
It was interesting, and this was less of an actual time loop, but more of a dream loop, as you guys were all. The scene that came back to mind, it was a creature that I had seen in the Kobold Press Tongue of Beasts, and I was like, what if that thing basically matrixed people and stuck the feeding tube down their throat, and they had to like pull it out, but it was actually like into their nervous system on their spine by like piercing through the inside of their neck, and that's what it did to you guys. And it was just, it created this shared dream hallucination that you guys had to deal with, but you broke out of it, and it had also captured a tavern, which is how you guys got enticed in the first place. And that's how we met Tavern.
It's how we met Tavern.
Who eventually made his way back to Cyorion. Don't ask me how, because that's all top secret. But he made it back to Cyorion, and he met up with his old buddy, and now runs more fellows.
He can planar travel.
He can. He is a special tavern.
Oh.
He's the goodest of boys.
He is. Yeah.
How did Tavern get there in the first place?
A tavern is Tavern is I like the idea of mimics being like almost fungal in their like the network. If you like look at, there's like studies in chemistry and understanding biology and like brain mapping and watching how fungi grow. Mycelial networks. The people doing things like plugging in different electric devices to be able to create sound based on the mycelial network. So I like the idea of mimics being a living intelligent fungus, and that's how they can mimic, as they can modify their shape and they can change, and they're like a living plant type thing. So this is a very advanced collective of mimic. So it's not a single entity, but it is referred to as Tavern. It is the collective entity of this group of mimic that's living together. And, you know, it's frankly, my thought for how it got there was he got there way back in like the Amafea days with Morphellos, and was like traveling through, and then Morphello being another separate entity of mimics from Tavern that wanted to that had a not a parasitic relationship, but like a symbiotic relationship with it, went to go do something else, and then shit went sideways and Tavern got stuck there. And
so he was stuck there for like centuries?
Centuries in Cyorion time, but time travel's different in Kosovo.
Right.
Botrin is a good example of that, which will lead into next question early of we've been drilling Zach with his character moments. So Max, what's Max's moment of Botrin that stands out? What is Max's favorite memory of Botrin for the campaign so far?
Oh goodness. Okay. I like the first time that we saw the crazy ass thing with their hair, and just like the body horror descriptions for Botrin always really I always really like them. So the idea of like the tattoos coming off of their skin and using magic with that, or their hair like growing long and wrapping up around people, like that is so cool to me. And so the first time that we got to see the like hair in action, it's so good. The
prehensile hair, love it.
Yeah.
Yeah. David has a storyteller's way with those descriptions, and the thought process he put into how Botrin does magic was just phenomenal. I have to agree. I do love that. Yeah. From there, though, you guys ended up, after you freed Tavern, that was on the way in. The plan basically was, looking at the Kosova map, you guys came in from 4, which all these places, kind of their names got lost to time since nobody lives there anymore. But 2 is where all the bad things were, and they all kind of like were in the mushroom wood. And that's the fun thing, is none of these were actually trees. These were all mushrooms and fungus that you guys had messed with, outside of Kosova proper, which was number 1, the center of the city. And as you guys approached there, good old uncle Turok's uncle and a bunch of warriors basically got everybody distracted, and they ran over that way, and then you guys sprinted into the city. Got stuck with the tavern for like an hour. Felt like days to you guys, but luckily it was only like an hour. And then you ended up in Kosova proper, where Botrin and Brindoinen had laid a whole bunch of traps for you. And you guys worked your way through into the center of the city. Got to see the weave, kind of the best way to put it. The fucking weave of time and destiny. And you guys all were just like, well, it looks like we're all connected, because there was some weird shit happening there. And then proceeded to get waylaid by Amana and a whole bunch of people, and looked like the end of days for all of you, and the campaign was going to wrap up real quick. And then Brindoinen leaned in and breathed on everybody, and it reset to the previous day as you guys were walking up to the library. And yeah, so we had some weird time travel traps there.
Yes.
Yeah, that was a fun one. We had Brindoinen breathing on you guys and changing the course of things, and as soon as Botrin showed up with the group of you, and then she looked to other Botrin and he disappeared, and it was kind of like, well, Brindoinen obviously knew shit was going down. And that was when you guys got to face Noldrith, which is a big name drop for Josh in the Sunday campaign, because he's heard that name a couple times and knows that's kind of like, he's heard in character in Sunday that Noldrith is like a target entity to be summoned by the bad guys that he's dealing with. So that was why the day that happened and Noldrith fought Brindoinen, he just kind of went, fuck. that was totally me giving a little bit of fan service to Josh for having to deal with this for years. But yeah, after that, like, you guys found the garden with the portals, and fucking Diggin chose a portal and ran through, and we ended up way over in the Ethereal Desert. This is the map that we've been building there of you guys. Like, there's the marker out in the middle of fucking nowhere as you guys ended up out in the desert. Yeah. So that was a lot. That was the first half of like a whole bunch of campaign sessions there. That was probably good, like 20 to 24 sessions there, I'd say, to get to this point.
Something like that, yeah.
I can tell you exactly how many.
You could tell us exactly how many, because my notes are not that good. And then, you know what? You guys picked up a fucking potion there somewhere.
Yes. We still have the potion. I still have the potion.
You do. The blue and cloudy murky potion. Because I have a giant block of text that says exactly what it does, that every time we play, I go back and I look at it and I go, okay, this is all the details about that potion, because someone had created like a really cool potion generator online, but you had to roll dice for it. So I wrote a fucking Python script to generate it on click for me, because that's the type of nerd that I am. No. Let me spell it out for you. Back in the Thursday game, that the people that were dealing with Edsto, I needed 150 years of political results from elections. So I weighed.
You wrote a code.
I wrote code. I'm a programmer for. So I wrote code that assigned a weight to the different like lower and upper classes, and decided like what weight would more often be elected to this house level, and like who would be elected to this. And I wrote a script that dumped out 150 years of electoral results for me, and then modified them with the hints and laid them in there. And one of my players went back and did frequency analysis on the electoral results and figured out who the people were that they should target because they'd been showing up most recently in the results. Because that's
amazing.
That's the nerd level shit I set up, and someone did the work, and I was so fucking happy when I found out he did it.
Wow.
But how many sessions was that?
So the 19th session is when we went through the portal.
Through the portal back. Okay.
Yeah, back. And that's when we got to level up.
There
So session 20 was our first session in a long time that we did completely in Cyorion.
There it is. All right, well, my wife needs something really quick, so this is the perfect chance, since we've been chatting for like an hour and a half here, to take a quick fiver. Those of you that are hanging out with us, if you got questions about the campaign, the world, anything you want to know, feel free to ask. But we'll be back in like 5 minutes here, guys. So thanks for hanging out with us tonight. Boom. There we go. Now we're back. Nope, you guys are not unmuted yet. Now you're unmuted.
Hello?
Hello. Welcome back. Hanging out again. Sarah off camera. So hi,
Yes.
Sarah. And
Hello.
Zach, the ethereal voice of Sarah. But Zach is on camera, so you can see. But we're coming back around, just kind of recapping what happened, and we're back kind of right here-ish as we arrived, coming back to like session 20, our first session back in Cyorion after the adventures in Kasuba. For some reason, I don't know why the stream view can never see all the marks, but you know, we've got the marks up. We can see them here. However, we had a weird potion we talked about. Yep, notes about Maximilia's home, which is Katya. However, you guys had come back to see Rosita coming in over the hill towards you. I think the day you guys came back, you all kind of did the stereotypical like sci-fi drop from the sky, like poof, and land in the sand.
Yeah.
And you guys,
I think you said the portal opened like 10 feet above the sand level.
perfect. Just be happy the dune hadn't shifted so it was 10 feet below the sand.
Yeah. That would have been interesting,
I
though.
would have dug out of the sand. So you guys popped back out.
Zombie style.
Oh yeah, Kill Bill style, like digging out of the dirt up, and then like the hand pops out. But you guys got to look around. There's a city approaching, but thankfully, going back in my notes, I managed to have the maroon and teal for Leventos, but orange and green for Rosita, as they kind of came across the sands towards you guys, and you guys saw the city of Rosita. You got to meet up with the jewel of Rosita, Melindra Castile, who happened to be buddies with Max. And I think that was when we really found out, and you guys kind of got the full picture of who that really was. And you guys got to meet with Belrund Castile, her dad, and Arme, his wife, who you did not know was a feral in disguise at the time. But we just left.
That would have been a very fun detail to learn then.
We just left that for like another 15
Feral
sessions.
in disguise.
We've done some fun things like that where you guys are just like, oh, we talked to this random person. Yes, that is totally a dragon, a god, a dark elf in disguise, and you guys are just like, whatever, we're having fun. Which I really, thinking back on it, I really, really, really do not know how Maximil is going to handle Captain Garside if she sees her again.
Oh, that's a good point.
Considering that's a changeling pirate captain, Maximil may have some serious questions.
It'll be fine, guys. It'll be fine. Everything's great. Everything's great.
Just just for what's gonna happen, see what Doran did last session.
True.
Ooh.
Oof. It's gonna get
Max
sassy.
Meal after some vigilante justice would be fun.
I don't know if fun is the operative term there.
Maybe not for
It
you.
would be horrifying because Doran just gets like ragey and punches things. Maximil is like, cool, I can kill you with my pinky, so I'm gonna do that now.
I'm gonna microwave your organs alphabetically.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's how it goes down. So then you also met Liliana, Melindra's sister, but really, the city was en route to the cliffs of Abisa. This little spot of cliffs that kind of shot out over the mountain area. There was a pass underneath it, so it was all shaded and made for this wonderful place where you guys literally almost killed people at a casual sporting event.
I mean, listen, come correct or get corrected.
You were like, Diggit was like, I put this person's face into the mud now and make it so he can't breathe. And you guys are just like, yes, do that, but don't get caught by those guys.
Yeah.
Hey, it's not illegal if you don't get caught.
Oh, but you guys were like almost getting caught, except for you guys are too sneaky.
That's the time I rolled the 2 natural 20s for stealth.
I hated that so much. I needed you guys to be caught just so it would be fun, but no. And yeah, so that was a thing.
Good old siege ball.
You guys played siege ball and almost killed people.
In our defense, we also almost got killed. Like I got hurt. I got very hurt. But they got caught doing it, so.
And then we had the ceremony that night. It was kind of the offer to the great dragon Simiposi, which went not according to plan. Again, things that I hide from, like I've done this intentionally, that you guys know things, but there's something to be said for things that you grew up knowing, and you never think about them until they're relevant. You're just like, what's how do tides work? Well, I don't really think about tides often, but if a kid asked me, how does the tide work? I'd explain it to him because I knew. Mm-hmm. And that's how we've played a lot of the character history. Is every once in a while I send someone a message and I'm like, so by the way, your character realizes this. And that's always an indicator that next session you're about to be asked about that shit. So you should probably remember it.
Yes.
And we did that with Maximiel, because I was like, hey, there's this thing that goes on every year. It's a whole like festival in the Cliffs of Abesa, and we have an offering to Simiposi. And the reason we do this is because Simiposi totally fucked up an entire city, plus a bunch of Kuros cities and lizard folk cities, because Simiposi was like, y'all quit fighting, and now we appease the dragon every year. Dropped that knowledge on Sarah, and Sarah was like, no, this is totally cool. And you guys were all like, sure, play along with it. She's clearly a trade princess. But shit went sideways. I think it was during that time, looking at my notes here, you guys had spent time. Oh, that's when Soren macked on that halfling lady of St. Gil's, Mary Vagrant, the blacksmith.
Oh, yeah.
That's when Doran got himself a sweet new sword.
Yeah, he did.
You guys picked up some stuff there. You met the crafty sandman. We had the secret cauldron propulsion shop. Tarak went and met with Proxix, who had some information about Gigi guns and possibly about Yurig. And then you guys were like, peace, we'll see you guys in a while, because we're going to go figure out why this guy, or why this group of monks basically got assassinated there. And you guys went to Salmix. You tracked down, like, after the lizard folk envoy did not show up. I think it was like one guy showed up and he was on death's door. He showed up at the offering spot. And you guys went down to Salmix, and you had found like evidence of attacks on the way there. There was the claw marks across someone's face, which was all wonderful. Went to Salmix, found out that, the Akuros, this is where they would meet up here, and that's where we first learned about the Akuros, this wyvern human mix. These tall, lithe, like they had wyvern wings on their arms, and they had like these really long arms with this like claws at the end that worship Simiposi. And they walk kind of like hunched. When they walk on their hind feet, they like hunch forward, and they use their forearms for balance, which are all winged because they're wyverns, not dragons. But you guys then found out about Doran's Sphere of Heights.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was that a pre-planned thing, or was that a thing in the moment?
That was a thing in the moment. I loved it.
That was definitely a thing in the moment. I decided that I wanted to give Doran some kind of quirk, and I thought, well, let's see. I have a personal fear of heights. I won't do open height things. I won't ride roller coasters, things like that. I'm too chicken. So I was like, I'll just give him my fear of heights, and I haven't figured out a lore reason for it yet, but just he doesn't like heights just cause.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Personally, I think it's a little funny since you're related to dragons, and dragons, historically fly.
And I want to say that, like, I think maybe what it is like there is some kind of thing where the true dragons who fly, like, as a point of, I like this, as a point of showing like who's in charge, they'll take the non-flying dragonborn and like grab them and fly up high and maybe let them go.
Good Lord. Oh my God.
What's funny is that when you were like, oh, I don't really have a reason for that, that is immediately where my mind went to. I was like,
that's it. That's the lore reason now, Ben.
Concern. So much concern, but
I mean,
I dig it at the same time. I totally dig it.
And like the dragon, depending on the dragon, if they're actually, just trying to prove a point, or if they're just gonna be sadistic and kill someone, like maybe the dragon swoops in and does save that dragonborn and puts them down. Just remember, your life is in my hands.
And then there's got to be the occasional, everybody else comes outside and watches this dragonborn fall to its death.
Mm-hmm. To prove to set an example.
That's fucked up, but I like it. So now we have a fear of heights established, and I think this is where Soren had his blessing.
Yeah.
His blessing from Bryndoinem. Talking with Jasmine, the female of the Akuros that was flying you guys to Rohitmadar. Which, why is Rohitmadar not on my map here? Because Rohitmadar was the... Oh. Don't ask me questions. I have no idea what's fucking going on. Do I have that in my note? Rohit?
DM, you're not supposed to tell us that.
From Salmix to Rohitmadar.
Oh.
Well, this is where my notes get fuzzy because
Rohitmadar is the name of the fucking island. I'm stupid.
The last thing I have is Velis, the lizard folk lady that was murdered by the fangs of Kirmi.
Yeah, so we had Velis and Shiria, who Shiria was the kind of attendant to Velis and found her dead in Salmix. So you guys took off from Salmix, flew up to Rohitmadar, which was the island, had the brief stop at Atapia, which is where the Kupat Tor greeting was learned by Diggin. Very briefly, picked up a few things there because you guys had to go over to Piriasura, which was the main place. And from Piriasura, you were supposed to go from there to Hashmanet, which was the temple of Simiposi. And that's where we met Pana and Gagan in Piriasura. Mm-hmm. The two Akuros priests that were going to lead you guys to where you needed to go.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Oh man. Mm-hmm. Who did they turn out to be there? Diggin? Or sorry, not Diggin, Doran. Doran.
Jeez.
Plot twist, your siblings are actually Diggin.
Oh, God, yeah.
No. They turned out to be Doran's siblings. Hang on, where are my notes for my siblings' names?
I mean, I've got them right here if you want.
It was Dorval and Sarath.
There you go.
And Dorval and Sarath got the drop on us.
They did. They got the drop on you, and they sent
silly geese. Silly little geese.
They sent some things after you, and they had the drop on you. And then you guys eventually made it to Hashmanet, almost losing Tarak on the way. because he was like, you guys saw the monkeys like around the treetops, and he's like, what's going on up here? And he pokes his head above after Shadow stepping through, and a dragon that was like a young dragon that was hunting monkeys for food almost killed Turok. So that leads us into the next question, which we'll go back to Doran for. What's your favorite Turok moment from the campaign?
Honestly, listen, anytime Turok and Doran get to be the Bash Brothers, that's my favorite. Like, magic just dials into it, and I love it. And it's just like, oh, we're gonna fight some shit now? Okay, cool. Let's stand back to back and let's go. And let's, and so the idea of like these two, their whole like personalities being like Thor and Hulk in the Avengers, of just like we're just the Bash buddies. We just we fight stuff.
I love to see it. I really do. It's one of my favorite things to see you two be Bash Brothers.
So much fun.
Yeah, a lot of fun from that. So,
because I don't know if we talked about this ever, Sarah. I kind of want to tell you this story, but when initially we were planning characters and Magic was wanting to go with a Dragonborn of some kind, and I came in and said, "Oh, I want to be a Dragonborn," and he was like, "Oh, well, now there's so much dragons." Initially, I thought, wouldn't it be fun if his character was in some way a mentor to Doran, of like he taught him how to escape or he helped him escape in some fashion. And so like I had that, like if he was going to stick with being a Dragonborn, like that would be a really cool dynamic to our story. And he's just like, I'm just going to make a half orc. And okay, well, that's fine. I'll come up with something else.
It worked out though. It did.
Yeah, I remember when Dad originally was planning to play a Dragonborn, and then there was the oh man, this is so many dragons, Maximiel is Draconic Sorcerer, and we have Dragonborn Barbarian, so we really shouldn't have this, one more.
Listen, let's just all be a party of Dragonborn, and let's go save Oodland.
Do it. Yes. Do it.
Do it.
Well, yeah, so from there, Turok almost died, but then you guys made your way into the interior of Hashmanet, which in that first entryway you found the absolute destruction of what happened there, because Sarath and Dorval had the opportunity to get out ahead of you, and they just went and murdered. And that's when you first started to get the connections between phenomancy and the direct, like, the power of blood and how it is connected to magic in the world. And you get to see some phenomancy in a bad way. As one of the two of them, I think Dorval is the one that took off, and Sarath was still there as you guys pursued Sarath through Hashmanet. Very big dungeon, a lot of fun putting that one together, and a lot of little puzzles along the way. You guys had some super cool stuff that we ended up not exploring, but I had a great time putting it together because I wanted to give you guys this. It was a star and wish from Magic of like, I really want an old school dungeon crawl. So I made this like 3 major layered dungeon with multiple crawl paths that you guys could go through, and you went such a fun route. Like I'm really glad you guys pursued the path of the priests, which is you guys put the robes on. Diggin knew Pelatek, which was assist me in the Akuros language, and he got the statues to follow you guys, and you took the staffs and the robes, and you ended up following the path of the priests. And this is a ritual that they go through every year when they're coming up here to give the offering and to cleanse the offering. They go to the entryway first, where there's the big chests you guys found with the running water and the statues looking over them, and they cleanse the offering and they put it into the sacred chest, and they bring it downstairs, and then they go through the offering path where it was remember those who came before you and what they gave, and that's where they like give honor to the fallen ones, which was great because yes, if you guys had walked into that room, it would have been mummies and zombies because they were all undead and there was some nasty magic happening there, and you guys were like, you know what, let's let the dead rest.
Yeah,
which is great. Just perfect. I loved that for you guys. And then it was strive for peace in the face of violence. And that was kind of the whole teaching of Simiposi, was like, listen, there's always someone bigger and badder than you. And if you guys are going to squabble amongst yourselves, you're going to miss what's important. So they had this priestly thing where they basically had to go through and not flinch in the face of these guys attacking them. And if you guys had stepped off of that path or flinched, it would have been like you flinched and stepped off to dodge the attack. And the entire sides of that actually sent you straight down to the third layer, which was the dungeon. And the dungeon is where, I gotta double check my names here, but Lindis Winthera, the female druid daughter of the Winthera family, that's where she kept all of her little pets, because she's a druid and she had all these animals and these weird creatures down there, and she took care of them. And that's where they happen to be. So if you went down there and you didn't survive, that was just a fucking part of what happens. And she was like, cool, circle of life, I get it. And the Akuros told her to not try to save people from the creatures that were down there. It was pretty brutal priesthood path there. But then you guys strove for the bravery in the face of certain peril, and that's where you sat down and snakes poured on you, and Botrin said, fuck all this noise, I'm gonna go find a secret passage. And then he found young Winthera's like cages for her snakes and rats and stuff that she fed the snakes, and like all the supplies in Winthera dad's workshop, who was a phenomancer. And I'm looking at this and I just realized we missed the whole fucking step with Baba Yaga's hut while you guys were on your way there with Botcha.
Yeah.
That was a whole thing too.
Baba Yaga.
Yep, you guys met Baba Yaga there.
Because that's where the witch light stuff started.
Yep, that's where the witch lights came from, and you guys were following the witch lights because you didn't know where to go. So then the last path that you guys missed, because you guys kind of shifted gears, and you met up with the Winthera family, and you met up with the dragons, and you learned that Turok almost became dragon food. There was a final challenge, which was to strive to honor the path and eschew desire. And what that was a series of enchanted hallways, and it read the thoughts of each person that passed through, and then it would have it created an illusory room that would have drawn you in. So there was the room where Doran was tortured and experimented on. There was one of the rooms was the scene of Maximiel's parents, as she understood it, finding her and saving her, so she could have stepped in and seen that. There was and the last one was like, because Digging couldn't have any thoughts for it to be read, there was just a generic like vault of treasure. But then there was the sewers below Busat, and Soren's mom's voice would have been echoing. There was Turok's family home, and he would have been able to like look in and see the tent where his father raised him. And then what was the other one? The Botrin one was like a library filled with like books and like a reading area and stuff that was enticing him to come back to the study. So like there was a thing for each of you in the hallway, and then there was a magical trap at the end of it, which was super fun and had the whole foundry stuff built into it, where when someone cast detect magic, the runes appeared on all the statues on the map. And then as these, basically someone had to stand on the centerpiece, and then a spectral image of one of the Akuros guardians would step through. And if you had cast detect magic, you would see that each of the statues had a magic symbol on it. And then as the guardians stepped through, they had a matching one, and you had to step behind the statue to draw them to the one that they needed to inhabit. And then if you get the 6 of them to inhabit it, you unlock the path that leads you to Simiposi to give the offering to Simiposi. So that was the final puzzle of the true dungeon crawl, and you guys went the puzzle path and then ended up in the path where you ran into the Wintheras and got to talk to dragons. But there was a combative path, there was a puzzle path, there was a lore path. Like, that dungeon had everything.
This dungeon has everything.
It did, because Turok said, I want a real dungeon crawl, and I fucking delivered.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun. And so Hashmanet hangs out to this day, because one day someone else is going to go see Hashmanet. But that's where we met the Winthera family, and that's where Maximiel laid down the draconic law and fucking put the pedal to the metal. The best like nat 20 ever rolled. Like plus 19 dragon diplomacy. This fucking adult dragon staring her down, about to chomp her face off for killing its father. And she was like, it wasn't me. Let's go get the son of a bitch that did it.
Yeah.
And I had this whole thing set up for like this epic fight where you actually had to fight this dragon and you had to go toe to toe with Norilth. And instead you turned him onto your side with a fucking like 32 diplomacy roll.
It was ridiculous. It was like what a.
It was a 30.
Sam.
It was a 30. Hey, Sam.
Hi, Sam.
We're recapping our story thus far. So yeah, you managed to convince this dragon that it was not you that did it. That it was the Fangs of Kirmi. And sure enough, you guys got these dragons to carry. You got a dragon to carry you, but then that's when we met the. Oh, I have art for this too. We met
the little beastie guys.
We met the Katiran horses. This was
Katiran horses.
We do love to share this because this came from Kate in our Sunday campaign. She had these commissioned for another character and just like never got to really use them. And she's like, I'd love for them to exist in Cyorion. And so these are naturally occurring magical horses that live among the Silvered Expanse, among these massive mountainous pillars, and they travel between them. And so when you guys went out, the Wintheras actually were the ones that the Wintheras witnessed this, and the Winthera daughter, Lindis, contacted the horses because she had met with them before and called in a favor for you guys. And you guys went out there and all of them were there to carry you, and you guys took the Winthera or the Katiran horses and chased down fucking Sarath on the black dragon that was trying to escape. And epic aerial battle ensues. Oh yeah, it's beautiful. Let's see if I can blow it up a little bit more. This was a gorgeous piece of artwork that was shared with us. There we go. That Kate had commissioned for another character that, you know, then became the Katiran horses. So that brought us back to after Sarath had made her way back to the outskirts of Salmix. You guys chased her down to the cliffs of Abisa. She was spotted and captured, and it happened to be by some folks from another city who had shown up that had some fucking questions.
Oh boy.
Yeah. So after that, you guys showed back up, and Katya had cruised up. The city where Maxima was from. You got to meet a few people. We met, Ekamon, I believe. Right? Mm-hmm. Yep. Trying to remember. And we met Cecilia and Ekamon, which is her mom and dad.
Yep.
We met Uncle.
Yep.
My daughter's like calling to my dog in the bathroom. I don't know what's going on. Sorry. There's some weirdness going on behind. You guys had met, you went to the Flaming Sandwich, which had a wonderful description. We threw Sarah on the spot, I think, for that one. We ran into the Flaming Sandwich. We met Misu Sidestride, Alucard Wright, which was made fun of, because Ben didn't realize Dracula and Alucard was the same fucking thing. And you guys, had met up with a certain young lady. Sarah, who was that young lady? Tell us a little bit about our favorite power couple in Cyorion.
Oh, well, there's this super cool NPC that we met named Irene, and she's like, I think she's a rogue of some sort, but I don't know exactly. In the character background, I just said that she was kind of rogue-ish, Like, I think I used the words dexterous and sneaky. Or, like, something along those lines. But she was super cool. And, yeah, helpful. Also, very badass.
She is super badass.
Yeah.
I think what I ended up having her go, like, out of character, because I don't know if you guys are going to run into her again, was a Battle Master Fighter Rogue multi-class.
Ooh.
Because she's definitely an inquisitive on the rogue side for a subclass, because she's on the intrigue. She understands the going-ons of the city, but then she's also guard trained. She had to, and it was I either sent her the direction of a Battle Master fighter or the Valda's Guardian class. The fuck, I can't remember the name of it. Where's my sources books? There's a Valda's subclass that is specifically built to be a tank warden, is what it's called.
Oh.
And it's like a defense-based thing, and there's a city defender. And there's a gray watchman, a maneuver-trained guard that repels invaders from cities. And like, I thought gray watchman was a really cool idea for an Ashahoyan city, someone who's expertly trained on repelling invaders from the walking cities. So that's kind of like the guard program that's like in the back of my mind for my headcanon for how they do stuff. A lot of this stuff is very, very fluid until it happens in a game, and then it becomes canon. We got a lot of ideas until shit goes down, and then it really goes down. Oh look, there's a note here. Max ate a raw lizard. Anyway,
yes.
Yeah, you did. Not quite yet.
Not yet, but that did happen.
Because at this point, you had met back up with Irene. There was some clear teenage tension going on there.
Also, I think at the point that I saw Irene, Irene didn't touch me.
She did not. She was very standoffish of you because she didn't trust that you were not one of the changelings.
Yep.
Yeah. So there was a lot of tension in that dinner with Cecilia and Ekamon, and your uncle, and then we had the moment that shit went very sideways. Hold on, I'm missing a dog. Oh shit! I'll be right back. Entertain people for just a second. My dog's missing.
Oh, sure thing. Yeah, that was quite a session.
Yeah. Ben had texted me about it like several months in advance, saying, "Hey, Sarah, at some point, I'm going to need you to be a changeling. Good luck."
Oh yeah.
No, I'm not going to tell you when.
There was the signal. I'm sorry, my dog had got trapped in the bathroom. She got stuck in the bathroom. I was like, "Where'd she go?" She was stuck in the potty. Yeah, so it went down with Sarah. I was like, there was going to be a moment that you became the changeling, and I think the exact signal was I took my headset back, took my hat off, fixed my hair, and put my hat back on.
Yep.
And that was it. And it happened naturally during the stream. I was talking, I said some stuff, and the headset went off. I fixed my hat, and then Sarah's like, "Now?" I'm like, "Yep." And that's what happened. Is she got picked up, and
yoinked.
She got yoinked in the flaming sandwich when you guys went back to the city. That's where she got yoinked. And so she was a doppelganger at that point, and that's when Irene would not touch her. Yeah, she was convinced that she was a doppelganger, and Sarah played it wonderfully. She played very standoffish. You guys were like, Max is acting a little weird, but not too weird. It was the perfect amount of like awkward roleplay, which I loved. And then we And then we went down because Doran was going to talk to Sarath, and it was going to get all tense, and everyone's like, this is a Doran moment. This is right here for him.
Surprise.
Surprise. The floor went out from underneath you, and you went downstairs, and there was the pivotal moment of change for this campaign.
This is the biggest shit got real moment in the campaign so far.
It only took what, like 27 sessions, 28 sessions?
I'm on session count. Give me a second.
Yes, the session count's right there waiting for us. But this is definitely when shit got real. For those of you that missed it, this is actually like the one clip we've got saved. By the way, as players, if you ever see some cool shits you want to clip, if you guys clip stuff on Twitch, I'll edit it and put it on TikTok too, just to generate more views and stuff, just to get people coming and hang out, because we know that our friends that hang out with us here enjoy the story and love our players, and we want to encourage more people to enjoy the story and love our players, because I've got a whole ass another campaign planned already, and as far as I know, these people want to keep playing, so we're gonna keep going.
You're stuck with us for the long haul.
We are stuck. It is going on.
Happened during session 28. You were very close, I
28.
think.
Session 28.
So for those that missed the moment, you should go check it out because it was tense. It was fucking real.
It was the craziest thing.
It was, and Soren was not there.
And yeah, we didn't even have Soren there.
There was the TikTok is wonderful because there's the look over to Soren with the AFK teddy bear, and like the screen shakes because some shit goes on and he's not there to handle it. That was a from session 0 plan with Josh of this Yurig being a military grade Yurig, because the story of the Yurig is that, you know, they were created centuries ago, and you guys, like, out of character, you guys all know this at this point, you know, an automatous race that was designed to help people, but you don't go making AI to help people at first. You know, most civilizations are war based first, and it's the exact same. The Shadowrun Cyorion takes place where these military grade automaton, like military grade limb replacements, are commonplace for people. And this automaton came out at that point. The Yurig version 0 was a military grade assassin, and that's what Diggin was. And he lost. There's some really cool stuff that Josh and I had sorted out between like what Diggin technically was and how he wasn't really a Yurig, and it was technically like the operating system basically keeping this virus of Galaxolin at bay and trying to, and that's why he was such a basic robotic kind of dude, is because he wasn't truly a person, and he lost.
He was to us.
He was a person to you, and he did not win. He lost the fight. And Galaxolin deleted Diggin, took over, released a neurotoxin which stunned all of you, and then proceeded to behead the uncle directly in front of Maximiel as she was stuck in a very happy, sad, smiling face because he was back, and then, you know, blood and hot tears pouring down her cheeks. The just brutality of it all as he left. And then came back, Gigi-gunned his ass up to the next floor, went back and was like, I should release her because that helps me too, and then let Sarath loose as well. Oh, that was a couple sessions there.
That was.
So then you guys fucking bailed on Katya because, according to our map here, if we're looking, Rosita is going this direction along our purple line here. Katya was coming this direction. They had just left the cliffs of Abesa, and you guys took off from right here, and we're going to try to intersect them. And that's where we met up with some other interesting folk. We met the Bayaji, which was the Fennec Fox people that lived in Ashahoya. Did love them. They live in groups of 12 called a Kelich. It's just a small group, but that's 12 is their limit. That's just kind of their whole shtick. But you guys, most of them they're nocturnal. They follow Yates, who is a goddess that's actually one of the mortal forms of the Veil Mother. So they follow a different one named Yates. But you guys met them, and that's where Doran, you had your Verdoran moment, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
With that amazing boon.
Oh.
Big boons.
That, like, immediately next session I used for you, Sarah, and it,
Yes.
like, I forget what you did with it, but it was something good and important.
Yes, I think it was for a witch bolt to hit one of those sand monsters.
I think that's right, yep.
Well, you guys were not...
But we weren't there yet.
No, you weren't there yet.
But I remember that I used it for something important. And I know that you possibly gave it to me twice. Was it for a save or something?
Maybe a save? I'm not sure.
I think I may have written it down. Give me a second.
Okay.
Well, you guys at that point, we were trying to travel to the oasis to basically get some camels and get something to get you across the desert and not die. Because, as a reminder, Cyorion's got a single sun that exists in the noon sky, and the veil covers it, and then when it uncovers it, the desert gets real fucking hot. All day. There is no early morning in the desert. It is, the veil uncovers, and within an hour, it is hot. So, so the Bayaji stay out of the sun all day, and they travel by night. They hooked you guys up with a trip to the oasis, where you guys met Chana. Max ate a raw lizard, I think, right before then. That's why I got that marked down there. 1 second, guy.
Oh, we heard about Danger all of our middle names earlier in the campaign. Sorry, What?
Apparently my daughter is scared of water. I mean, she's in there taking a shower, scared of water. So that's happening. So you guys heard of Dangers all of our middle names because you were asking about Zero, I think, at that point. Possibly. You were asking about other Yurik.
Yeah, that was kind of Magic's whole modus operandi at that point, was finding out more about the Yurig.
Well, you had gone down, met Chana, heard of the tale of the Nightwalker. Wink, wink. Which that was another one that I sent Sarah like months before. I was like, hey, here's this cool nighttime story, this bedtime story that you heard about, the Nightwalker that would terrorize the evils of the world. And I left that one because Chana brought it up. And you guys found the Cathedral of Ajun with creepy snake people. You had found the old temple of the god of rivers, Kalo. Had to deal with Ruddy's Brigade, a group of brigands that killed your fucking camels.
Those mother...
Listen, when we've dealt with Amana and we've saved the whole of Cyorion and we're the big damn heroes, we're coming back to that desert. We're gonna find Ruddy's Brigade and we're gonna just
those poor dudes.
Beat the living shit out of them.
It's just gonna be that scene of you guys aren't even gonna be like using all your magic. It's just gonna be sticks and boot stomping, and it's just you guys just like curb stomping these motherfuckers in the desert.
It's like, listen, I could use this sword that I have at this point, which is a +10 to my attack, or I could use this stick, which I get a +5. I'm going to use the stick just to prove a point.
So Doran got his dream after we had met Jaeger, and so the thing that I used the boon for was to attack the Dune mimics.
Ah. That's right. I did have it when we were in the Temple of Ajun.
Who knows?
Our Cathedral of Ajun.
Someone followed a thread in the Bayaji tent.
That was the dream.
Oh, that was the dream as you were back in the Bayaji tent?
That was the dream as I was in the Cathedral of Ajun.
Okay.
You said, Doran, you wake up and you're back in...
Gotcha.
And I said, oh, okay.
So you guys were in the Cathedral of Ijun.
Yeah.
With Nashu and Sheksa, who first of all was just like, "Oh, you guys can come in except Max. Fuck that bitch." And Soren negotiated a contract with the Ijunites and got Maximiel passage in because they just don't like the city crawlers. They don't like the people atop the cities. So I'm going to pitch it up to Max. Max, what's your favorite Soren moment of the campaign?
Oh, well, there's a couple, but the one that's on my mind right now is his mic drop moment where he's like talking just so hard at that the priestess lady, and oh man, that it was just like he had such sound logic, and Nate worded it so well. It was just like I could almost see Soren possess Nate for a moment to make sure that this was done correctly.
Yeah.
That went so hard.
Hey.
Yeah, anytime Nate gets to be sassy as Soren, I'm all for it.
Oh yeah.
I also personally enjoyed the relationship talk. I thought that was very funny.
I'm looking frantically through my art folders here because there it is, the art share folders where before I had like all the other art share, I had an art share folder, but then I just made a Sam art folder because Sam makes so much shit that like I put it in a Sam art folder.
We love you, Sam.
Yeah, we love Sam.
Sam is the greatest. But there's the Soren mic drop moment, which we love to see.
Hell yeah.
Just laying down the law with Nashu.
That is, I don't think I've ever seen that piece before. That is amazing.
It's in the art share direct,
Is it?
Yeah, I love seeing
Discord.
it. The Discord's got
geez.
it. We love to see it. There's more comments. Oh, I mean, Monster Effects too. If she doesn't stop putting fucking horny tieflings in my chat, I'm gonna have to make more horny tieflings in the world because Monster Effects keeps putting down the business, and I'm just like, mommy. It's like Doran with fucking every big girl I put in his direction.
Listen. At that point, the line is so blurred. I don't know if it's Doran or Zach anymore. All right, like
I respect it, my man. I do not discount it.
Listen, there's a reason She-Hulk is my favorite Marvel superhero. And when you just give me blue She-Hulk in a campaign, yeah, I can't help myself.
Look, I can definitely absolutely understand the appeal of taller women, okay? I get it. You don't need to explain yourself.
Hey, you gotta remember, Zach did remember who Yaren was for the very first question at the beginning
Yaren.
of this thing.
Yaren is so good.
I know, she's so good. It's gonna be so great when you meet her again.
Ben?
Listen, I'm gonna stand outside her window blasting Huey Lewis's Power of Love on a boombox, and it's gonna change her back, okay? It's gonna be fine.
Oh man. Well, so you guys you were at the Cathedral of Ijun, which took you to a temple, the Temple of Akoth, which you guys got to deal with, where used to belong to the Ijunites. Oh please, Ren. I don't care if you use her or not, Monster Effects. I may have to start borrowing some of these luscious tiefling women for my campaign. I'm sorry. You just let me know if I have permission or not.
Tieflings.
Tieflings. We all love them. So you guys went from the Cathedral of Ijun to the Temple of Akoth. More of Ben's fucked up names, trying to put names to places with everybody going.
Temple of Akoth was fun.
It was a great time in that temple.
We almost got TPK'd.
That's Scorpion.
The most unbalanced fucking encounter I've ever had. yeah,
that thing was immune to like most damage or like resistant to most damage.
It was horrifying. But yeah, that was I don't know where I saved that art to again. Like I'm trying to consolidate. Anytime Sam puts up something new, I put it in the new Sam art folder. But I mean, that's where, as long as they aren't commission free, oh hell yeah, you let me know if it's commissioned or not. Otherwise, I'm gonna call it fair game in the art share channel. And we will always put you onto the stream and promote your work. If you have make sure Monster Effects, if you do have like an Instagram or something I can share, that I get to drop that when we're playing, so I can share it with people.
Yeah. We support our friends who create horny tiefling art and
absolutely
sexy tall women art and just sexy art in general.
We do
y'all
love
do so much good art. We just love art.
We love art. So yeah, we went to the temple where we dealt with the sand mimics outside. This was our first encounter with Jaeger. After we almost got shot in the fucking face by him. Okay, perfect. Thanks, you Monster Effects. I'm gonna make sure I bookmark that so I can share it.
Art Goblin, perfect.
We met with Jaeger, went outside to deal with the dune mimics. We went and dealt with some all sorts of nasty creatures inside of the Temple of Vakoth. And then we had the fun math puzzle, which I mathed out right there.
Yeah.
And really, that was Sam had just done our character art. Oh, Red Dommy Mommy. Yeah, I remember her. Oh my gosh. Sorry, Monster Effects talking about Red Dommy Mommy Tiefling. And she was, whew, may or may not have ordered my wife some red lightning horns after that one. But you guys went to the temple and we met the terrifying scorpion. And that was when we took the door through to Morphella's traveling goods with Jaeger for the first time, which was mind-blowing to Jaeger. You guys spent some time there with Soren's people and came back and faced off against a prophet of rot, which I don't think, did I ever give you guys the full details on that creature?
Yes, I think you did.
Yeah, I've got
you shared it with us afterwards, and I totally probably didn't steal some of it.
Oh, you definitely should. We've got it up on the stream here for our friends who didn't get to see it, but the Prophet of Rot had some fun features. It could move through creatures if they were difficult terrain, doesn't provoke opportunity attacks, and if it moves through you, it takes a D10 necrotic damage. It has a plague step feature, which was a reaction. Yeah. So basically a lot of its attacks would poison people. And I didn't get to use this as often as I had liked, but I think I used it once on Max and I forced Doran to re-attack Max or somebody with it.
You were forced Soren to shoot fire at Max.
That was it.
Yeah.
So the Prophet had a feature that if you were poisoned by it, it could plague step and force you to switch spots with it. If you did not save a strength saving throw, and you would get ripped through this portal of acid and poison and appear and take the damage from it instead. And then it had the poison explosion, which I think it attempted to do once and ended up getting like one or two of you guys. And it's got 6d10 poison damage, and then a successful was half, and a multi-attack feature. Just a nasty individual. And this was also that was like right when we were getting into the art generation phase of Cyorion, and we started like AI generating some of these disgusting things that are in my head.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Prophet of Decay was a real nasty boy.
Sam also did the art of the Temple of Vakoth.
Yep, that was the big big one for Sam. I was starting to say that and I fucking totally spaced it, but like that was right when Sam did our character art and she watched the stream for the first time and like started really kind of like following along with us, and then we got to the temple and that was the first time Sam made me cry, because Sam's like, I really liked this, can you give me the math on it? And I explained it to him, and then Sam's like, here's a sketch, and I'm like bawling. like at dinner, trying not to cry my eyes out because it was so fucking gorgeous.
I have that on my wall. The finished piece. I have it on my wall.
I gotta get it printed. I need to like print and
right
laminate
above the poster of the Midnight Parliament. I have both of those up there.
Yeah.
Amazing. Like I'm getting my office built out soon, and as soon as my office is actually built, then I'm gonna start hanging up all these posters. I gotta get my Cyorion world map, and then I gotta get the other stuff done. But I love it. I love it. Okay. So we finished that up, and we came back to the cathedral. You guys did some shit with a biking on ice, and oh my gosh, Sam, don't hurt
be
yourself.
safe.
Yeah, oh my gosh.
Sam.
Oh,
Sam's tearing up because we said all the nice things. Oh, Sam.
We always have all the nice things to say about Sam.
Yeah.
We haven't even gotten to Sam's character yet. Oh,
I know.
We are almost done with the recap. I've got like 2 or 3 more pages of notes. We are almost done recapping through. So you guys came back to the Cathedral of Ijun, and there was the game of chance gentleman who was giving you guys some gambling tips and like some things you could bet on, and I think Doran and Jaeger like kind of punch that motherfucker right in the face. So we're gonna go to Doran he's been with us a short time. But what's your favorite Jaeger moment in the campaign so far? Sorry, Jaeger / the Nightwalker.
Oh, you.
Nightwalker. Honestly, I think my favorite moment was probably that, like, his sort of understanding of, like, you need to punch something, buddy. Come on, let's go punch that guy. Come on, let's go punch out the fake fortune teller. But recently, of course, we had that moment where Jaeger kind of took agency away from Doran in a way that Doran hasn't really had happen in a very long time. And that was really rough for Doran.
Oof.
I think Doran is gonna be real cold toward Jaeger for a little bit here, because to have that agency taken away from him, that brought him right back into the headspace of, you don't need to make your own decisions. What do you need to make decisions for?
Oof.
You're a slave. You do what you do.
Oof.
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 Brutal. I love it so much.
So there's going to be some interesting.
Oh yeah. I don't know if anyone has anything nice for Jaeger right now, because everyone seems to be a little upset with what has happened, what transpired.
That was good. There were some upsetting things that transpired, but
it was so good. It was delicious.
I did love it, and it makes me so happy knowing that on the horizon there's more like polarizing things coming up that will just like drive the party to some hard decisions. So very much love it. Very much love it. So in that mix too, we had Botran learn he found the coin for Caritas, the goddess of dreams, which he promptly tattooed on himself and is now like a warlock agent of the goddess of dreams. That's a whole fucking thing we can go on a tangent about.
I love that. Is the kind of like
the chaotic
not gonna think about
yeah.
what I'm doing. Like, yeah, just the I'm doing this now, and consequences be damned.
You love to see it.
Yeah, love that. That's definitely kind of the way I want to play Doran. Whenever I get the chance, and for the most part, I kind of have, like the jumping into the pool for the portal to Kasoba. There have been moments where Doran has just been like, I'm the biggest one, the strongest one there is. If it's going to hurt me, I'll be the one most likely to survive. I'll just do the thing.
There you go.
Oh yeah.
We found during that time Diggins' serial number was 1. That was a big thing. we found that I believe you guys had the phenomancy test done on you, and we found that you guys came from the same blood.
Sibling dance.
Yeah.
Do we remember the DC on that? Because I've got the written list, no zooming and enhancing, of like what the different DCs would have told you and what your guys' true deep secrets are.
I think we got like around a 17.
I was gonna say I think we got like an 18.
17 would have told you that you guys had the same blood. 18 would have told you what species it came from.
So we
check your notes because I think we did learn which species.
Well, we learned dragon, I think.
Yeah. If you guys learned dragon, I mean, it should be clear to Sarah that dragon was the blood. So you guys do share dragon blood.
Yeah.
I think that was what we got, was like an 18 or 19.
Yeah, DC 14, DC 18, DC 20. I almost said 2022. So those were our DCs. And we found Dorn and I have same dragon blood.
Yep, you guys share the blood of a dragon. So you guys got, after like all that shit there, you did the phenomancy thing. You found out like Soren went back with Astrid and found the Hungry Halfling, a Wayfarer's Guide to the Food of Eterna, back in the Forbidden Book section, like the locked up book section. You guys were given access, but then that's the mic drop moment. He was like, fuck you, we're not trading anybody for that access. And then you guys got dropped off and went to Rosita. With Chana in tow, who was apparently still just hanging out with you guys.
We constantly forgot about Chana. Like, oh yeah, we have an NPC with us.
Some of us did.
Chana was like Arlie, okay, with like the unseen. Like, it was just another thread that was there, and you guys were like, we got so much on our plates. Fuck this bitch. She's here for the ride. She's gonna be fine.
Yeah.
Hey, I like Chana.
You guys you're doing okay. Don't worry. There was also Borden Underfoot's of Dragahode's guide on the discovery of Urig. And then you guys
digging.
It was a little bit about digging. You guys did not end up getting those books, but you went back and got to Rosita and had a very awkward dinner.
Oh yeah.
And then somebody who was there was the Ashahoyan family safe word, which about set shit off, and you guys were all like, is it gonna fucking go down? And shit almost went down.
We're like, okay, we're ready. What's happening?
I don't think you guys wanted to fight a level 6 Bard 14 fighter, so.
Ooh. Oh my god.
Yeah, trade princes don't fuck around when they're from Ashahoy and they've lived this long.
Oh my god.
Yeah, we would have gotten our asses handed to us.
Belrin's got his big dad belly, but that dad bod's got a lot of business behind it that'll fuck you up. He's a diplomat and a fighter. And he keeps that big old scimitar at his waist for a reason. Big old two-handed nastiness.
Man, one day I hope Max is a trade princess who can scare off little adventurers like that.
She is a trade princess. It's just somebody else is filling your shoes right now. Oh, it got sad. But you guys met Azra Saborielian Thane, who goes by Sabori Thane, who is the mother of Parmina Thane, some adventurer you don't know about. That, you know, actually, now I forgot to mention this as you guys were watching the play. You guys would have heard the name.
Oh, we would have?
No, wait, hold on.
No, because I don't think she was a part of that.
She was not a part of that. It really depends on, I actually need to check with her character whether or not she registers with that group, because you guys, the group, not Dangerous All of Our Middle Names, but Shades of Blue, that was made out to be the bad guys in Salo in Geet, she was involved at that point. So it just depends on whether or not she was actually on that list. And I need to double check with Kate, because there's a very real possibility you guys would have heard of Parmina. And it depends on what she goes by. And she plays very well knowing like outside character knowledge, and she keeps like Parmina's knowledge to what Mina knows. She's a very good player, like a lot of fun, and somebody who will eventually guest star in this game one of these days.
Woo!
Yay!
So one second, just give me a quick top off to the line. when all the lore flows best is when the wine flows too.
So true.
So we had some fancy items made. You guys talked with some Sabori Thane, got some things figured out. You heard about the Kemka family. Eventually found out going to Najem Bin at this point. Learned about all sorts of stuff, including our super hotties. Allow me to go ahead, and I know exactly where that fucking artwork is. We've got the hottest of the hotties, Serene Halyard.
Ooga chaka, ooga, ooga, ooga chaka, ooga. I can't stop this fever.
We love the tattoos. We love everything about Serene. Just this all the stuff, and then the tense moments with Jaeger as she was learning stuff and scouting out who was. You guys had the exchange in the streets of Najem Bin, like the first moment of counterspelling a counterspell, and you both got polymorphed. I loved it so much. And then you turned in for that evening, got Maximiel calmed down at the Cloud's Embrace. Had some things the next day you were going to work with on, obviously there was the what you don't see conversation between Serene and somebody who we now know to be Gilla, because that's somebody who she worked with closely and spoke to. And you guys go back and see Gilla the next day, and there's Gilla in her work fit, which we also love so much. I love that I make a little halfling barista, and Sam's like, "Let me bring that to life for you." You guys got to meet up with them, as Gilla was giving you guys books, and got Doran high, which was just wonderful. And then they both meet you at this event, and it's Serene and Gilla in these super hot outfits that show up to the event, and you get to meet up with both of them. Also, Gilla's coffee shop, the Loaf and Cheel.
Yes.
I have put some puns in some games, and I was just so happy that one landed after
that one.
It took a minute. It was the perfect amount of what is he talking about to suddenly everybody getting it when I briefly explained it with like the cat and the girl like reading the book. Then everyone's like, this motherfucker.
It was one of those really great puns that it took a second to bake, and then when it was ready, everyone was, you son of a bitch.
What's your favorite thing that got favorite pun or favorite thing that you added in either in any of your Cyorion campaigns?
Oh man.
Yeah. Putting you on the spot now.
So rude. But so Loaf and Cheel was pretty phenomenal, because that one was I hadn't punned you guys because I had kind of considered it a little bit more of a serious campaign because it was on stream, so I hadn't thrown a good pun at you guys yet. But I had at one point thrown at somebody the wizard brothers, Gavin Wong and another brother, something Wong, I can't remember. That were being made fun of in their wizarding group, and it was an idea I stole from Reddit years ago. But they were trying to create they were trying to raise from body parts this creature to fight on behalf of them. They were studying necromancy, and the whole pun was someone came in and was like making fun of them that two Wongs couldn't make a white.
I saw it was coming. I knew it was coming, and yet.
Yeah. But that was not a Cyorion campaign. I think that one was that one was a good 8 or 9 years ago. But
oh god,
yeah, two Wongs could not make a white.
Couldn't make a white.
Yeah. But the Loaf and Cheel is probably one of my favorite Cyorion puns. I resist the temptation a lot. Like I've got the dad jokes fired up. We occasionally drop the good dad joke in there, but loafing chill was the pun that I sat on for a while that I knew was gonna not hit immediately and be pun worthy, and was probably the very first like actual pun that I put into Cyorion.
Okay, well, you know what? Let's, since we're turning tables, and I like this game.
More.
Ben,
We're kind of at the end. We're at current. Like, quick closure. That's where we're at so far in the campaign. We have just wrapped up. You guys, you had an issue, Doran, where you went out and you found out that your brother was actually the blind prophet. Just a real quick recap of what you switch questions. Jaeger came after you. Some distractions went down. You find out that Jaeger's the Night Walker. And you guys are literally on the cusp of landing in Busat. And that's where we left the game so far. So that is this many sessions of notes. It's like all my random writings. But yeah, in our last 17 minutes, hit me with what you got.
all right, we're talking about character interactions. Our characters' favorite moments with other characters. Ben, what have been some of your favorite moments of us, the players, interacting with each other?
Ooh.
We just went over the entire campaign, so there's a lot to think on. Stepping back from what I can remember most recently to the furthest reaches of obscurity, the interaction between everybody witnessing for Doran's continued heartbreak has been absolutely gut-wrenching to watch. This is somebody who's escaped from great distress and great animosity into a world that is no more forgiving than the one he came from. And now he's coming to realize that, that the entire world it's a really hard outlook, because there's a point in everybody's life where you're just like, is the entire world pain? And that's what Doran's experiencing. And for everybody to try to step up and like reassure Doran that it's all going to be just fine. And then he breaks from the group at that point and is just like, you know what? I'm going to get my own vengeance, because fuck this. I can't take this anymore. So watching that for Doran was absolutely phenomenal to see. I'm just going to go for one for each person, I guess.
That's fair.
Botrin's recent embrace of Caritas has led him to almost treat you guys as a flock of people that he looks over. He went from this like person that was trying to find his way back into the world to realizing that maybe he's this kind of shepherd. And there's all these little things that he sends and like he does with dreams so far. And it's only been like 5 or 6 sessions of it, but it's been very clear that he like has this like older protective overlook of you guys, which has been really cool to watch, that he really wants to like protect you guys and help guide you down the right path. From Jaeger's perspective, the absolute mistrust of everybody and knowing his character's backstory, and you guys trying to be like, look, you've got abilities, you've got knowledge, and we want to work with you and help you, and he just can't fucking trust anybody. And it's super, super hard to watch, because you want him to trust and believe in the bonds of friendship, but he's lost so much. And he just explained to you guys like how much he's lost. And it's hard to watch him try to reconcile that. Maximiel's had this ongoing, since session 1, the innocence of Maximiel being like, I didn't do anything to that guy. Somebody attacked me and killed him and stole the book, and trying to fight for herself. And Maximiel's been in this position constantly of trying to climb back up from being beaten down. And it's wonderful to see Tarak and everybody else like try to lift her up, and then realizing who she is, but then still playing the big brother to the little sister, who's really like every fucking time she steps up, someone else has just got to like keep beating her down. And it's amazing to watch that continued like group effort. Soren has been a beacon of good family values, but also the tale of like midlife crisis has been difficult with him, because it's somebody who's like being someone like, I'm only in my 30s, but like I can see it on the horizon. I know there's going to come a point where I'm just like, I'm at the halfway point of my life. Like I maybe want to try something new before I lose this time. And Soren's embodying that very well, where he's gone through tragedy and joy and love, and now he's still at this like spot where he's like, is there something I can contribute that's going to last beyond my family? And he's trying to make that mark, but at the same time he's struggling with the fact that, you know, people rely on him and love him, and he can either adventure and like bring back the art that was lost of blade dancing and blade singing, or he can focus on what's here and now and provide wonderful guidance to his family and like the people that are directly around him. So it's a balance of like every person's desire to leave a lasting mark on the world versus leaving a lasting mark on those that really, really, truly matter to you. And that's really cool to see. And Tarak has got this wanderlust for someone who's been potentially lied to and misguided and really hasn't found his place in the world. And it's a weird analogy to drive it to, but someone who, you know, in the real world, who maybe lost their way and became an addict and like fell into their own little fantasy. Tarak is kind of like in his world trying to break out of like what he thought was this fantasy beforehand that he created around himself. And now he's starting to see the cracks in it. It's like someone who's healing from trauma that he didn't realize was there. And he's like coming into the realization that there's more to him than he thinks. And he's like breaking out of that and seeing that with like the camaraderie and brothership with Doran, and then like looking to Soren as someone who could like guide him as another father figure besides the person he thought was like losing his mind, and now is realizing that's true. Like maybe he should really like align with some of these people and their ideals. So that's the giant list of interactions that I think is fucking amazing, and character development that's just so much fun to watch every week. I'm gonna drink a little more now because that was a lot.
Very insightful. I love that.
Yeah.
I like to write, and you guys make it very easy to write because you give me so much source material. And it's difficult not to like. This has been one of the hardest campaigns to DM because I put out all the threads very early. I did my classic thing of like, I'm going to lay out like a half dozen threads, see what sticks, and we're going to go that route. And there's going to be some bad guys doing some stuff. But then you guys have like grabbed all the threads, pulled on all of them.
We're going for the 100% completion run.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, you guys have this phenomenal interpersonal conflict that just makes me go, ooh, how can I stoke this fire more? How can I really get under people's skin? Like the entire story, like I'll be frank with you, the entire storyline of the blind prophet and what was going to occur with the blind prophet and how you guys resolve that, and then also those prophecies and how they carry over to like future events, like 5 levels from now, you know, campaign 2, like what world impact that has of the blind prophet. That was all determined like the day that all kind of crystallized for me months ago. The blind prophet was not Doran's brother until I realized how much that would like drive a knife into everything and twist it even further. And then I was just like, no. Like as soon as like you guys hooked onto the Fangs of Kirmi and like how much you drove that story, that's when the blind prophet became Rinzeth. Like I was like, cool, that's done now. Like Rinzeth is the like about 12 sessions ago, Rinzeth became the blind prophet, and I wrote that note down, and I was like, this is a thing. This is how it is now, because I know, like in my mind, I know that that's going to come up later, and the fact that I just took a second to jot that down was going to pay off dividends for me.
That, yeah, I mean,
yeah.
I'm still kind of just in awe of it all. I mean, just how it's all coalescing, and you know, I mean, because here's the thing, like, obviously, Dorval and Sarath are still out there in the world somewhere causing trouble. You know, we haven't seen them in a hot minute that we know of, and so it'll be interesting to see what happens whenever Doran gets to meet up with Rinzeth and find out what happens there.
Yeah. And that's kind of right where it all comes back to is, Busat is a central location that's been there since campaign session 0 for you guys. Like, everybody passed through Busat and all roads led back to it. Because there is a wealth of political intrigue going on there. There's obviously now the things with the blind prophet and the Arkaroth's chosen, how that ties to the Fangs of Kirmi and what you guys know that they're trying to do in Busat, because it was plainly told to you. I'm pretty sure it was in character, like, told you guys the Fangs of Kirmi are pulling some bullshit in Busat. We don't know what it is. And then on top of that all, like, Imana's got some big fucking plan going in the background. Like, what's her whole deal? And Galaxolin told you guys to stay the fuck out of Busat, and here you are walking back into it.
Oops.
And that, you know, yeah, that's...
I hope that doesn't come to bite us in the rear.
Oh, listen, there's so much stuff happening in Busat right now. It's all just going to explode in our faces all at once, and it's going to be devastating and amazing, but devastating.
Yeah. This was the first place that I created when I envisioned this world, and to a point of where I had contacted Josh and one other friend when we were originally doing this, and we started a text-based role play to build Busat from a perspective of two people who were there way before Buraz that were working like a private eye kind of like investigation group that operated in Busat, just because I wanted more of like how Busat came to be, because you know there's good story reason for why it exists. The Dragonborn could not survive the Ethereal Desert. They needed stopping points, so Busat became like the harbor before you went to Ashahoya, and that's how Najembin came to be, and that's how like those cities started stopping there, is because a lot of trade traffic came from there. But this place, the City of Gates, was like, I always envisioned Gates as like a opening to something magical, like those wrought iron medieval gates, and that's how I envisioned Busat. It was a confluence of openings to potential amazing fantasy storylines, and that was the intersection of all races and all diplomacy all came to Busat. And like, I even gave it to Sam, and Sam says she's fucking excited for Busat. I gave Sam some very basic landscape direction and was like, I would love some art. Please, one art, please. And Josh and I were like, we have dollars for art, please. And Sam was like, I would love to take a shot at it. So Sam took a shot at it, and from Sam's words, unknowingly created exactly kind of what I had pictured. Like, I went into great detail about the architecture after I saw the initial sketches, and Sam was like, cool, I made this just because it looked neat and it fits perfectly. And I was like, this is exactly what I went for. Like, these pieces, like the gates are dwarven, the buildings are elven. Like, that's how I envision this whole thing, is like all these different races coming together. And unknowingly she put it together and just made something so fucking perfect. And then also, you know, Nate created the map for Busat. Like, I actually had Nate sit down and map it, and you can see it at the top of the screen there, all the little blue tabs that, if you don't know Foundry, the blue tabs are tabs that players can't see. They're hidden from players, but the GM can see them. So those are all the districts of Busat and the navigation like map and all that stuff, there's, 7 districts to Busat. There's the Reloro, Pars Heath, Silk Grove, the Bastion, the Ridge, the Wharf, all this stuff that's waiting. And I really see Busat being the entirety of Act 2 of this campaign, with Act 3 being the final showdown against Amana. And we'll see how that goes.
So excited.
I think if Doran survives this, he's going to settle in Busat.
It is a magical, wonderful place, and it is a place that needs lots of help. Like, it's any big city. Like, look at any major city in the world. They've all got issues and they all need help, but they're all also little pockets of bastions of humanity and like kindness to people. And that's what we like to see in Busat. Sam, you had no idea what you were doing, but the gods of art and story have coalesced to make something beautiful. And
indeed,
and I am so very excited to show it. It's one of those things that like I'm holding my own hands here like this, so I don't go click the Busat like art and pre-show it early, because I'm really trying not to.
Do it.
So we have a couple minutes left for any last minute flip it on the DM questions that you guys want to throw my direction. And Sam or Monsterpex or anybody else hanging out with us in chat, if you have any questions, now is the time as we wrap up this look back at our first act of our first game. This is really like about Act 1.2, 1.3, like leading into Busat. Act 2 is really fully in Busat with a lot of things that we're going to learn there.
So when we get to Busat, is that then considered an end of one of our like milestone arcs?
Let's see.
AKA level up.
I know that's the true.
I was trying to be subtle about it, but yes. Well,
the real question,
is that where we
DM, can we level
up?
up? Yeah, I think I said that after coming out of the Ethereal Desert, like you guys had a level up on deck, but I wasn't ready to give it to you yet. Yes, entering Busat is level 9.
Okay.
Yay!
Yeah. You guys should complete 9 through 12 or 13 in Busat is my thought process. And then 13 to like I generally don't end campaigns at 20. I usually end them like 18 or 19. Just however, it's really like a play it by ear, how it feels kind of deal. I usually see my Act 3 operating for like the mid tiers being levels 8 through 12 or 13, and then 12 or 13 through like 18 or 19. Level 20 is just such a weird D&D 5th edition level to be at. Like, it's one of those things, like if you guys fought Amana at level 20, it'd be a fucking stomp no matter what I did. Like, you guys would just obliterate her. So like, yeah, level 18 or 19 is where I see you guys facing down either Amana, or if you guys shift gears and go after like the things that cure me, like ending up there. And I mean, that's still fully on the table. I have my ideas of where things are going to go, but it's up to you guys completely. I play fully at the whims of you guys.
Ben.
Yes.
Have you considered both?
I have, but okay. I think some of the things that are in motion that you don't know about would prohibit you from achieving both on the same characters.
Sad face.
Like, I think there are just some things that are going to occur that are hopefully going to be really super mind-blowing, and you guys are just be like, that's so fucking cool. But B is going to offer really good character wrap-up that would allow you to like say, this is what my character does after dealing with X penultimate threat or ultimate threat. Like, this is where I feel like my character would want to go, realizing that there's continued work to do and that they may not be able to necessarily complete it in their lifetime, that maybe it's time to pass it off to the next generation. Like I'm hoping that the things that occur offer you guys up the opportunity to say, I would rather my character set up the next generation, which would offer tie-ins for future campaigns.
So campaign 2 happened in Cyorion ?
Absolutely. Yep. As far as As far as I am concerned, after two of the organizations complete their plans or don't complete them based on your guys' efforts, campaign 2 should continue in a combination of just Cyorion or potentially Cyorion and Eterna.
Oh. Way back when, didn't you pitch us that like eventually we'd figure out teleportation travel via this campaign?
Yeah. Based on what you guys complete and what the other campaigns complete on Sunday and like Thursday, Friday, interplanar travel will be unlocked and teleportation will be unlocked again. Which obviously opens up a whole lot of avenues and questions about why those things were stopped in the first place and what happens now that they're available.
And I guess my final question, be as vague or as open about this as you want. The new hotness stuff that you had us come up with.
Yes.
As a sort of interlude. When do you think that will be taking place?
As part of potentially between 2 and 6 total sessions of gameplay between the new hotness and your existing characters, I see the new hotness as being an aid to the wrap up of Arc 2.
All right.
I give plenty of lead time for good reason, because there is I don't know exactly when it's going to happen. It depends on how you guys do things. You guys have a tendency to grab threads and ask questions and like role play, which is wonderful. So I never put a timeline on it. Like I can't. It's just impossible for me to do that. However, the new hotness is something I tested in the Sunday game, and it worked incredibly well as a storytelling device. Which is just super, super fun. Like, I think it's a really fresh thing for the stream. I think people are going to enjoy it. For the stream that does not know, what did I give you guys? Instructions for new hotness, make characters of X level.
You literally just told us like, hey, make some level, I think 3 or 5, level 3, make some level 3 characters.
Yep. I had everybody make a party. I was like, you guys all know each other. You've been adventuring with each other. This is your level. Everybody make a character. And that's exactly where I left it.
Did we ever come up with the party name? I think we did, right? No?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah, the new hotness is something that's your characters obviously will not be replaced, but
right.
It's a storytelling device that I think works so fucking well now that I actually tried it. Because I'd never done it before. So I did it in the Sunday game, and it worked so beautifully for telling the story of something that your characters are not there for. Which I loved so much. Like, it gives us an insight to other things. It makes the world feel alive, because now you're looking at the world through a set of adventurers that's green, while you guys are like a little more veteran. And it just like kind of brings something into focus that like not only inspires but terrifies. And that's the point.
Every time we play and you do what you don't see, half of me gets excited of like, oh, is it going to be maybe something about this other party?
Now, this is the new hotness is the most horrifying what you don't see that you will ever experience.
Oh, so excited.
Yeah, I'm very much looking forward to it.
It's going to be good.
Any other last minutes?
I think my curiosity is satisfied for now.
My curiosity is never satisfied, but it's satiated enough.
Oh, Sarah, did I tell you that the Sunday campaign knows exactly what the veil is now?
You know.
Yeah. He told me that earlier.
You missed that on the earlier part of the stream. The Sunday game went to Carby Keep, which was the castle of a chronomancer / dimension traveling wizard who knows exactly what the veil is. And they understood and saw everything, and they know all the details that you guys don't know yet. And I can't reveal it yet because it hasn't been revealed on stream, and all of them are sitting on it just going, "Mwahaha, we know what the stream doesn't know."
So remember, Sunday players, our DMs are open, and we will happily pay bribes.
Yes.
We have Venmo available. We will pay you. Love it. Again, just as a last minute to our friends that are going through it this week, that, you know, it's not our place to disclose. Our hearts go out to you, and we love you very much.
Yeah.
And we look forward to seeing everybody back next week. And to Nate, who is being a jerk and hanging out in Hawaii without us, we hope you have a wonderful time. Nate's going to try to play from the cruise ship next week. We've done some Wi-Fi tests, so looks like he may be able to be on voice because he doesn't want to miss Busat. So from all of us that got to hang out today and just kind of recap our story, it's been wonderful hanging out with you guys this last year. We look forward to the rest of this campaign and everything in the future, and we love you all very much. We'll catch you guys next Monday. Thanks again, Zach and Sarah, for coming and hanging out with me and chatting as I just kind of recap where we've been so far. And also, you guys have earned, don't let me forget, inspiration for everybody for a phenomenal recap and remembering all the you guys just tickled all my happy DM buttons of remembering NPCs and lore. So everybody gets inspiration next week to start the campaign session with. So, all right.
Inspiration as we enter Busat.
As you enter Busat, which is serious. There's some big stuff going on there. So
are we level 9 entering Busat, or are we going to level up after that? Because you said that
we're gonna roll a d20 on stream. If it's Sarah, you may choose evens or odds.
Oh. My favorite number is odds, so I'm going to go with odds.
If it's odds, you level up to level 9 before next week's session. That's a 14. It's evens. You're gonna level up after you get to Busat. You got inspiration, but you're not leveling up till you're in Busat. So
okay.
Can I use my inspiration to make you reroll that?
I mean, if you really want to, I'll let you sacrifice it, but you're gonna give it up.
What about the extra credit that Sarah got for remembering the feather and the broken glasses?
No, I'm not gonna go back and let you. We're gonna go for some deep lore. Here it is.
Oh, hell yeah!
Here we go.
All right, Zach, you are not allowed to assist on this one.
Oh.
Hold on. Okay. We're going for some deep lore here. This is actual players versus the DMs. I never want to like hurt these guys, but this is players versus the DMs here.
Okay.
I'm going back through my notes here. Like I'm going to my notes to find something that I've said to you that you may know. Let's see here.
I'm so nervous.
Should I do a fucking... That might be too easy. Man, this is tough. This is really tough.
Too easy? Oh god.
Yeah, this is... I need to find something that's worthwhile. I'm literally like digging into the...
How am I more stressed about this than than what happened last session?
I know, right? Okay. Ooh. Okay, I said this earlier in the stream today.
Oh.
I've claimed this before and explained what it is. What is the name of the nomadic group that the Fennec Fox people, the Bayaji, what is the name of that group of 12 called? Of no more than 12?
Oh, it began with a K. Or it had like a hard sound at the beginning.
Yeah, it definitely did.
I'll see. Give me a second to search through the book, the Lore Master book.
I love it. I love it so much.
And I also feel like it ended with a sh or a ch at the end.
There was a ch in there, sure. Like a.
Okay.
I almost want to call it like a catch, like a KETCSCH, something kind of like that.
Ooh. Okay. No, it was after that.
Catch, clutch,
Payesh.
kelch, Katesh.
Their goddess is Yates.
God, I'm so glad I didn't ask you who their goddess was, because I almost did that. I was this close to being like, who's the goddess of the Byaji Fallen? But I thought that's too easy. I have to ask the most obscure question.
Payesh, Kalesh. Give me a second.
I don't know if you have this written down, because I think the first time we've heard it was him saying it tonight.
This
Hey,
this is some
You've been
deep
taking
lore.
notes tonight.
This is some super deep lore.
give me a second. Because I
Is she
am
rewinding
doing...
the stream?
No, I'm not. Hold on. I'm looking for... I don't know if this will help me. Ben, do you promise if I say what I'm doing out loud not to do anything about it?
Sure.
Okay, I'm looking for your World Anvil page. Because you have World Anvil for...
I can tell you that the Byaji are not on there.
Damn it. Okay.
Yeah, I remember it had a k and a sh sound.
Kalech. They're...
Kalech sounds right.
We're not allowed to rewind?
Nope. You guys gotta make a... I'm gonna need a decision in 1 minute.
Okay. Do we each get one?
Nope. You guys get one together.
Oh, has to be consensus.
Okay.
Damn it.
Okay, so do we want... Let's see, you said Kalesh?
A Kalech? Like with a T? Like, because I thought it sounded like clutch in a way. So I was like, Kalech? I'm saying Kalech.
It may have been a... This is just me thinking about Ben. It may have been a play off of the term click. And so, like, it's just a funny, fantasy-ish way to say click.
I love this so much.
This is
my favorite thing.
And a group of phoenix foxes is called a skulk. Fun fact.
It is. I did look that up when I considered naming them after what the group of phoenix foxes is called.
There's also a group of foxes could also be called a leash.
It's been a minute. I need an answer.
I got nothing.
I'm going to go with Kaleesh.
Zach, what's your idea?
I thought it was Kalech.
What's your guys' consensus? We got Kaleesh and Kalech.
Okay, the only reason I'm thinking Kaleesh is because that's the mixture of a skulk and a leash, and those are two names for fox groups. So I'm trying to linguistics my way through this.
I remember it sounding like clutch in a way, so
okay,
that's why I'm thinking Kalech.
Kalech.
Let's try it and I'll be wrong. It's fine.
I'm gonna turn on my mind map so you can watch it on stream.
Oh no.
But the derivative of a clutch, is the proper name for a group of Byaji that live together. It's a clutch.
It's a Kalech!
It is a clutch.
Woo!
Wow, that was intense. Sarah went the linguistics route. but it was a derivative of a clutch, is how I originally came up with this, which was a clutch.
Okay.
Or a kalich is how they pronounce it, but kalich or kalich is what I would have accepted because there's the phonetic and then there's how it's spelled. So, whew, that was intense. So, with that, you guys are level 9 coming into Busat.
Yeah! Yes!
All right, I gotta go post it in the private players chat because of Sarah and Zach. You guys are level coming into Busat. Please level up before next Monday.
Zach MVP.
Listen,
Zach
I don't know
MVP.
where I got that from. Like, my brain, I summoned that from the depths of hell.
Oh my gosh, I love it so much. That was intense. What an intense way to end the recap stream. I'm a little verklempt. So, all right, guys, that was amazing. We'll see you guys next week. Hopefully coming into Busat with some amazing new artwork from maps and very clutch indeed.
Clutch. Yeah.
Indeed. We'll see you.
Did you see David's reply just now?
Beautiful. That was clutch. Oh god. Okay. Thank you everybody for hanging out with us tonight. We'll see you guys next week back for the Queen's Frost Crown as we come into Busat. Thanks guys.